Chapter 1463. At this moment, Xiao Feng suddenly appeared and exuded the energy of a God Lord. God Lord! The Golden Dragon Valley Master, the Sky Water Yao Race Patriarch, and the other half-step God Lords instantly froze. They had never imagined that Xiao Feng was a God Lord expert. If the soul-cleaving old ghost hadn't come, they would have all died without a grave. In the distance, the Spirit Grass Gate members seemed to have been struck by lightning, frozen to the spot. You're Xiao Feng? The soul-cleaving old ghost's dark green eyes carefully examined Xiao Feng. He believed that he could easily capture Xiao Feng this time, not that Xiao Feng was a God Lord. Good sir has come here to make trouble and injure my subordinates. You must pay a grievous price. Xiao Feng stared straight at the soul-cleaving old ghost. Humph, you've only just become a God Lord, but you're already so arrogant. The soul-cleaving old ghost narrowed his eyes in disdain. That God Lord energy just now was clearly that of someone who had just broken through and could not be controlled. He had also walked on this path, so it was easy for him to determine this. The half-step God Lords breathed a sigh of relief at these words. But someone who had just become a God Lord was definitely no match for the soul-cleaving old ghost. Swish! With a wave of his robe, Xiao Feng took the Black Destruction Dragon and his clone into the space-time robe dimension. The soul-cleaving old ghost and the half-step God Lords were confused. What did Xiao Feng mean by summoning back his subordinates? Their side had 6 half-step God Lords and 1 God Lord. Xiao Feng had only just become a God Lord. Did he really have the confidence to contend against all of them? It seemed like it was just as the soul-cleaving old ghost said. This Xiao Feng was far too arrogant and conceited. Let me teach a lesson to a junior like you who just broke through. The soul-cleaving old ghost was rather excited and impatient to attack. Soul-breaking blade! Buzz! Buzz! Bzzz! In the soul dimension, 3 dark green sabers appeared above the soul-cleaving old ghost. The 3 soul-breaking blades hung in the sky, exerting an immense pressure on the nearby half-step God Lords. In the distance, the spectating true gods and ancient gods felt like a saber was pressed against their necks. As expected of a Soul Dao God Lord! To think that he would be so powerful! The Golden Dragon Valley Master was secretly alarmed. One of the 3 soul-breaking blades that the soul-crushing old ghost had unleashed could directly destroy his soul. Senior, we'll stop Xiao Feng for you, lest he escapes, the Golden Dragon Valley Master immediately said with a smile. With the current situation, once Xiao Feng was captured, all the benefits would belong to the soul-crushing old ghost. Therefore, he had to do something. After saying this, the Golden Dragon Valley Master shot a glance at the other half-step God Lords. Whoosh! Whoosh! The half-step God Lords immediately surrounded Xiao Feng. Let me see how many slashes you can take. With an evil smile on his face, the soul-breaking old ghost waved his hand. Swoosh! In the sky, the 3 soul blade fragments arrived above Xiao Feng and descended one by one. Just as the first soul blade was about to hit Xiao Feng, however, Xiao Feng himself stood there leisurely, completely unmoved. Boom! The massive dark green blade slashed into Xiao Feng's body. In a flash, a sharp and tyrannical soul energy surged into Xiao Feng's soul body. Xiao Feng's soul intent had reached the God Lord level a long time ago. After becoming a God Lord, his soul intent had advanced another level. Coupled with the uniqueness of his lightning soul body, his soul defenses were so strong that not even a top-class First Heaven God Lord could break through them. In addition, Xiao Feng's God's spiritual eye had also reached the God Eye level, further increasing his soul's ability to resist attacks. Kaboom! Boundless soul energy invaded Xiao Feng's soul body, but in the end, the energy was exhausted. When the saber descended, the surrounding crowd was astonished, their faces filled with astonishment. Eh? Even the soul-breaking old ghost himself was astonished. Was Xiao Feng not afraid of death? In the face of his soul attack, he didn't even try to dodge or do anything. But a moment later, the soul-breaking old ghost grimaced, feeling rather strange. This was because even though Zhao Feng had been struck by the soul-severing blade, he didn't seem to be affected at all. Boom! At this moment, the second soul-severing blade slashed down. As for Zhao Feng, he remained as unmoving as a mountain, seemingly unconcerned. The second soul-severing blade had no effect, and Zhao Feng was still standing there. The soul-severing old ghost's face was ashen. He was a Soul Dao God Lord, but he couldn't even do anything to a junior that had just become a God Lord. Boom! The strongest third soul-severing blade struck Xiao Feng's soul, but it still had no effect. The nearby half-step God Lords were dumbfounded. Is this real? The Golden Dragon Valley Master found this all too absurd and unbelievable. Junior, you truly do have a lot of good stuff on you. You even have a supreme quality divine artifact that protects the soul. The soul-breaking old ghost bellowed. That scene just now was far too humiliating for him, which was why the soul-breaking old ghost said this. But in his mind, this was also his conjecture. Hearing this, the people around him nodded. Zhao Feng definitely had a supreme quality divine artifact that protected the soul, or else there would be no other explanation for what just happened. Moreover, Zhao Feng was wearing the space-time robe, and his subordinates just now all had supreme quality divine artifacts. It was completely reasonable for him to have a supreme quality divine artifact. Humph, ignorant! Zhao Feng snorted. He had not been in a rush to strike because he was getting used to his God Lord divine power, and he had also been able to test out his soul defenses. But now, it was time to end this. In the ancient desolate realm of gods, strength was everything. Everything should be resolved with strength. Swish! Zhao Feng's figure flickered away. The soul-breaking old ghost flipped his palm, and a green dagger appeared. Thish! He suddenly stabbed forward. Space rippled in front of the dagger, and Zhao Feng appeared. Chaos Origin Tribulation Lightning Sword! Zhao Feng extended a palm, Chaos Origin Divine Power surging out and instantly condensing into a dark silver sword. This sword was so condensed that it seemed real, and countless dark streams of light flowed through it. Swish! At the same time, tribulation lightning patterns appeared above it. Boom! Bang! The two swords clashed, and the soul-breaking old ghost's dark green dagger was sent flying. How could this be? The soul-breaking old ghost grimaced. In that clash of divine power just now, he had been defeated. But hadn't Zhao Feng just become a God Lord? How could a divine power attack be so powerful? But now was not the time to think about this. Zhao Feng's peerlessly powerful lightning sword was already descending. Not good! The soul-breaking old ghost discovered that he had been enveloped by a time law. He couldn't dodge even if he wanted to. Boom! Hiss! The Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning sword pierced through the soul-breaking old ghost's chest, creating a splash of blood. Plush! The soul-breaking old ghost vomited a mouthful of blood as he stared in a daze at Zhao Feng. At this moment, boundless Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning divine power was wreaking havoc and devouring everything within his body. This dreadful destructive power made him not dare to believe that this was real. Die! Zhao Feng gripped the Chaos Origin divine sword and mobilized the pure divine power in his god altar. Boom! Hiss! The Chaos Origin divine sword instantly swelled in power, and the sword itself doubled in size. Ah! A shrill scream resounded through the world, making one's hair stand on end. Boom! Whoosh! Zhao Feng's sword slashed through the air, cleaving the soul-breaking old ghost's body in two. Whoosh! The two scorched halves of the soul-breaking old ghost's body dropped to the ground. Everything within his divine body had been completely destroyed, including his soul. The soul-breaking old ghost had been severed by a single sword strike from Zhao Feng. The 6 half-step god lords around him were ghastly pale, their legs constantly trembling. This soul-breaking old ghost was just talking nonsense. How could he kill a god lord so easily after just becoming a god lord? How could he be so strong? The bewitching woman of the Sky Water Yao race was completely terrified. Now that she thought about it, all her previous actions had been suicidal. In the distant valley, God Lord Tyrant Dragon's eyes flashed with a strange light. As expected of the ninth God Eye. After becoming a God Lord, killing God Lords of the same level is so easy. God Lord Tyrant Dragon was rather excited. All of you, have you all come to settle accounts with this Xiao? Xiao Feng barked. An invisible soul pressure swept out in all directions. The 6 half-step God Lords felt like their souls were being bombarded by countless bolts of lightning, their bodies aching and numbing. Even farther away, the true gods and ancient gods were also affected, their bodies numbing and losing consciousness. At this moment, there was absolute silence. Zhao Feng had even killed a God Lord, so how could they dare to make trouble for Zhao Feng? Wasn't that just seeking death? But right at this moment, an even more powerful aura descended upon them. Kaboom! In a flash, the sky was dyed violet, and the air was shrouded in a hazy violet mist. Xiao Feng, you're quite bold. You dared to act so brashly in the Gulong Zone and even kill a God Lord of the Gulong Zone. A violet-robed elder slowly emerged from the violet mist. Next to the elder were 3 half-step God Lords. Violet Night Hall! The Golden Dragon Valley Master rejoiced. Violet Night Hall was one of the 3 5-star factions of the Gulong Zone. Moreover, the one who had come this time was the Violet Night Hall Lord, a second Heaven God Lord. None of the factions present had expected the Violet Night Hall Lord to personally come. It's over! Even the Violet Night Hall Lord has come! The Spirit Grass Gate Master was deeply worried. Violet Night Hall was undoubtedly one of the behemoths of the Gulong Zone. Zhao Feng is already a God Lord. Violet Night Hall probably won't make things difficult for Zhao Feng over a minor matter from back then, an elder of Spirit Grass Gate said. As long as Zhao Feng controlled his temper and had a proper talk with Violet Night Hall, this matter could be concluded. So you're saying that Violet Night Hall has also come to make trouble for this Zhao? Zhao Feng looked at the Violet Night Hall Lord and coldly said. The fact that the Violet Night Hall Lord had personally come meant that Violet Night Hall was prepared to attack him from the very start. There was almost no chance of negotiation. Thus, Zhao Feng couldn't be bothered to waste words. You're making trouble in the territory under Violet Night Hall's jurisdiction. How can Violet Night Hall let you do as you please? The Violet Night Hall Lord was rather displeased by Zhao Feng's attitude. However, he was almost certain that Zhao Feng had some sort of heaven-defying treasure in his possession, one that far surpassed supreme quality divine artifacts. Otherwise, Zhao Feng would have never been able to reach the God Lord level so quickly, much less kill a first heaven God Lord. If he could obtain Zhao Feng's treasure, the overall strength of Violet Night Hall would receive a massive boost. Boom! The violet mist around the Violet Night Hall Lord became so thick that normal people couldn't even see him clearly. The half-step God Lords closer to the Violet Night Hall Lord felt that their vision was blurry, and they began to hallucinate. A few moments later, the world had become a gloomy violet hell. Run! The nearby half-step God Lords grimaced and immediately retreated. In the distant valley, God Lord Tyrant Dragon was a little interested. Ninth God Eye, can you fight against the second Heaven God Lord? God Lord Tyrant Dragon was rather curious. But no matter what the outcome of this battle was, he would be the final winner. Chapter 1464. The Violet Night Hall Lord barely exchanged a few words with Zhao Feng before both sides began to seethe with killing intent. How could this be? The members of Spirit Grass Gate found this extremely strange. The two sides had barely exchanged a few words before fighting. It appeared as if the Violet Night Hall Lord had long since prepared to personally attack and had no intention of negotiating. In addition, Zhao Feng's attitude had not changed at all, not giving the Violet Night Hall Lord any face. He had only just become a God Lord, but the Violet Night Hall Lord had become a God Lord countless millions of years ago, and was now a second heaven. The world seemed to turn violet. Everyone nearby felt the incomparably oppressive aura and retreated a certain distance. I let you escape last time, but this time, no matter how powerful you are, you will remain here. The Violet Night Hall Lord's ancient and dignified voice echoed through the violet night. Kaboom! Violet mist surged, instantly condensing into a massive violet claw. Before the violet claw even descended, a bone-chilling gale swept toward it. If Zhao Feng didn't have the space-time robe, he would have been forced to dodge. Chaos Origin Tribulation Lightning Sword. Zhao Feng circulated his Chaos Origin Divine Power, formed a Chaos Origin Tribulation Lightning Sword, and slashed. This was his first direct clash with a second Heaven God Lord, so he could not be as careless as before. He had to be cautious and fight with all his strength. Bang! The Chaos Origin Tribulation Lightning Sword cut open a massive wound on the violet claw. Violet mist immediately leaked out of the wound, and the Violet Night Hall Lord's attack lost more than half its power. By relying on Tribulation Lightning energy, his special divine power attack is actually able to contend against my Violet Light divine power. The Violet Night Hall Lord was rather surprised. Although he had overestimated Zhao Feng before coming, in this true clash, Zhao Feng's strength was still far beyond his imagination. The Violet Night Hall Lord's expression darkened as he extended both hands. Kaboom! Two massive violet claws condensed in the violet night sky. These claws were almost tangible, like the claws of a vicious beast, and they were covered in strange and demonic patterns. Boom! The two violet claws moved with incredible speed, grabbing at him from the left and right. Thish! A layer of ethereal white light appeared on Zhao Feng's body. He turned into a streak of light and escaped the Violet Night Hall Lord's attack range. Although his divine power attacks combined with his tribulation lightning could fight against the second Heaven God Lord, he was still a God Lord. But in a head-on clash, he would still be at a disadvantage. This kid's speed is quite fast. The face of the Violet Night Hall Lord sank slightly. At the God Lord level, all attacks were imbued with space intent, or a law. Thus, techniques like blink and instant movement could not be used. But even if he didn't use these abilities, Zhao Feng's speed was still incredibly fast. Boom! In the strange purple night, a streak of light flashed and disappeared, leaving the two purple claws behind. Chaos Origin Divine Sword! As he flew, Zhao Feng activated his left eye, condensing a miniature Chaos Origin Divine Sword that shot forward. Eye technique? The Lord of the Violet Night Hall had sensed it long ago. In front of him, purple mist surged and formed a special purple shield of light. As expected of a second Heaven God Lord! Zhao Feng mentally sighed. The Violet Night Hall Lord was extremely calm in dealing with him, not letting up in the slightest. The Violet Night Hall Lord immediately took defensive measures against the Soul Eye Bloodline technique unleashed by a God Lord one heaven lower than him. Bzzz. Zhao Feng's left eye flashed with dreamy light, abnormally dazzling in the oppressive and bizarre violet night. Move up! As his left eye stared at the miniature Chaos Origin Divine Sword, an intense thought appeared in his mind. At this moment, Zhao Feng was using the realization ability. This ability was extremely effective against small objects, and could make the impossible possible. For example, Zhao Feng had changed the trajectory of his eye bloodline technique. What? The Violet Night Hall Lord's eyes flashed in shock. Swoosh! A miniature Chaos Origin Divine Sword pierced through his head. How could this be? A hint of pain appeared on the Violet Night Hall Lord's face, but it was quickly replaced by shock. Just now, his defensive secret skill was 100% certain that it could block Zhao Feng's eye bloodline technique. But the eye bloodline technique had suddenly changed its trajectory and moved up a few centimeters. In normal circumstances, this would have been completely impossible. Caught off guard, the Violet Night Hall Lord was injured by Zhao Feng's eye bloodline technique. In the distance, only the 6 half-step God Lords could clearly see what was happening on the God Lord battlefield. How could this be? The Violet Night Hall Lord was injured by Zhao Feng. The Golden Dragon Valley Master's mouth dropped open in disbelief. Of course, he only had a blurry view of how Zhao Feng had managed to injure the Violet Night Hall Lord, and he didn't really understand. The Violet Night Hall Lord was probably careless and allowed Zhao Feng to exploit an opening. The one-armed elder also found this to be unbelievable. The Violet Night Hall Lord was no ordinary second heaven God Lord. How could he have been injured by a junior that had just become a God Lord? In the distant valley, God Lord Tyrant Dragon's pupils constricted. The trajectory of the attack suddenly changed. Ninth God Eye, how did you do it? God Lord Tyrant Dragon was rather excited and impatient to investigate the secrets of the Ninth God Eye. At the center of the battlefield. Junior, die! The Violet Night Hall Lord was enraged. Boom! He activated his Violet Night race bloodline, and his body transformed into a stream of violet light that made him seem like a monster of the Violet Night. Swoosh! In a flash, countless violet figures charged out of the Violet Night Hall Lord's body. Each one of these violet figures was equivalent to a full-strength attack from the Violet Night Hall Lord. Case Heaven Black Hole! The Chaos Origin Tribulation Lightning Sword could not deal with this, and the God Eye Illusory Oblivion could not nullify such a large-scale attack. Thus, he could only use the Chaos Heaven Black Hole. Now that the Chaos Heaven Void Origin technique had reached the 6th level, Zhao Feng could completely use the Chaos Heaven Black Hole's power. Whoosh! Whoosh! Vast amounts of Chaos Origin divine power poured out of Zhao Feng's body, condensing into a circle that engulfed Zhao Feng. This circle of light grew darker and darker until it was black. The moment the Chaos Heaven Black Hole formed, a powerful twisting and devouring energy was unleashed. Swoosh, swoosh! Several violet figures were the first to descend. But once the violet figures got a certain distance from the Chaos Heaven Black Hole, they were struck by a twisting energy that caused their power to drop. As they got closer, a devouring energy attacked them. Boom! By the time the purple shadow collided with the Chaos Heaven Black Hole, it had lost more than half of its power. Xiao! Displaying the Chaos Heaven Black Hole, Zhao Feng moved at high speed. This kid has such a powerful defensive secret skill! The Lord of the Violet Night Hall narrowed his eyes. Chaos Origin Tribulation Lightning Sword! A Chaos Origin Lightning Tribulation sword suddenly condensed above the Chaos Heaven Black Hole and stabbed at the Violet Night Hall Master. Whoosh! The figure of the Violet Night Hall Master, who had transformed into a streak of violet light, flickered as he dodged. Xiao! But suddenly, a miniature Chaos Divine Sword shot out, piercing through the place he had just appeared and accurately striking the Violet Night Hall Lord. Damn it! This brat! The Lord of the Violet Night Hall was livid. The Violet Night race also specialized in speed, but Zhao Feng's God Eye's predictive abilities were too powerful, and his eye bloodline techniques were also extremely fast. Boom! Bang! As Zhao Feng attacked the Violet Night Hall Master, countless violet lights descended on his body. If it weren't for the Chaos Heaven Black Hole and his ability to predict and dodge at high speed, he wouldn't have been able to escape. Not even the Chaos Heaven Black Hole would be able to block this kind of indiscriminate bombardment. But after suffering 2 losses at the hands of Zhao Feng, the Violet Night Hall Master could no longer restrain his rage. Junior, you brought this upon yourself! The Violet Night Hall Master bellowed. Hisses! The Violet Night Hall Lord, who had transformed into a stream of purple light, suddenly swelled up, as if he had fused with the purple night sky. Violet Annihilation! Powerful divine power surged in front of the Violet Night Hall Master, condensing into a spinning violet stream. As this violet stream spun, it rapidly grew in size, and several violet figures could be seen within it. They seemed to be powerful demons of violet light. In the distance, the half-step god lords were stunned and involuntarily retreated. I didn't think that the Violet Night Hall Master would use the Violet Night race bloodline's secret art, Violet Annihilation, so quickly. I heard that the Violet Night race bloodline's secret art, Violet Night, contains many different types of energy and is extremely destructive. The Violet Night Hall Master's bloodline is extremely thick, so when he uses this technique, he can heavily injure a god lord of the same level. The half-step god lords were all stunned. It seemed like Zhao Feng was doomed. But they had forgotten that it was Zhao Feng who had forced the Violet Night Hall Master to use this technique. Die! The Violet Night Hall Master's roar shook the heavens. Roar! A bone-chilling roar came from the swirling purple stream. Thish! In a flash, the violet stream was right in front of Zhao Feng. This speed was comparable to Zhao Feng's eye bloodline technique version of the Chaos Origin Divine Sword. God Eye! Illusory Oblivion! The Chaos Heaven Black Hole found it difficult to block this attack, so Zhao Feng immediately used his origin energy to use the God Eye Illusory Oblivion. Bzzz. A dreamy dot of light suddenly appeared in the endless violet night, exuding a dreamy light that made one yearn for it. In front of Zhao Feng's eyes, the purple stream was covered in a layer of dreamy. Extinguish! He began to use his thought power. A moment later, the heaven-shaking attack before Zhao Feng's eyes suddenly vanished. In the distance, the Violet Night Hall Master was smiling down at Zhao Feng, as if victory was already his. However, all of a sudden, the ultimate attack that he had unleashed vanished without a trace. What? The Lord of the Violet Night Hall was shocked, feeling incredulous. How had Zhao Feng instantly neutralized his attack? Boom! Hiss! As the Violet Night Hall Master was reeling in shock, two Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning swords pierced through him. Swoosh! The two Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning swords pierced through the Violet Night Hall Master's chest, nailing him to the void. Boundless Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning energy wreaked havoc within the Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning swords, corroding the Violet Night Hall Master's divine body. Just now, how did you do it? The Violet Night Hall Master circulated his divine power and prepared to struggle free. But how could Zhao Feng give him this chance? Intrusive dream! Zhao Feng circulated his origin energy and thought power. In a flash, he had created a dream dimension. When his left eye locked onto the Violet Night Hall Master's body, the Violet Night Hall Master couldn't help but look at the dreamy light. At this moment, the Violet Night Hall Master's consciousness felt an unprecedented suction. What's going on? This is... The Violet Night Hall Master didn't know what Zhao Feng was doing. But through Zhao Feng's left eye, he saw a dream dimension paradise, and he suddenly felt an unprecedented sense of danger. Chapter 1465. What's going on? This is... The Violet Night Hall Lord didn't know what Zhao Feng was doing. But through Zhao Feng's left eye, he saw a paradise of dreams, and he suddenly felt an unprecedented sense of danger. The Violet Night Hall Lord immediately circulated his soul intent to resist. This kid, what powerful soul intent! The Violet Night Hall Lord was alarmed. He was a second heaven god lord, but first heaven Zhao Feng's soul eye bloodline technique was actually able to shake his soul intent. The Violet Night Hall Lord soon realized that this had to do with Zhao Feng's left eye. Could that short-lived ninth god eye of the Chixing Zone really be him? The Violet Night Hall Lord couldn't help but be stunned when he thought of the rumor. The ninth god eye was an unreachable and mythical existence in his mind, so he didn't believe that the Zhao Feng he knew was the owner of the ninth god eye. But now, the Violet Night Hall Lord felt an intense sense of danger. He was forced to believe that the rumor might actually be true. In the distance, the 6 half-step god lords were in turmoil. What's going on? What just happened? The long-armed old man's face was filled with shock. Why had the Violet Night Hall Lord's supreme skill, purple annihilation, suddenly vanished? At this moment, a ball of dreamy light appeared in the center of the violet mist, causing everyone to look up. What's that? Everyone's consciousness was drawn by the dreamy light, and suddenly fell into another space. In the center of the battlefield. Intrusive dream! Zhao Feng's left eye focused on the Violet Night Hall Lord's body, and dreamy vortexes of light surged out. Under Zhao Feng's left eye, the Violet Night Hall Lord clenched his teeth and resisted. Rumble! Hiss! Suddenly, the 2 Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning swords piercing through the Violet Night Hall Lord suddenly surged with power, unleashing vast amounts of Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning energy. In a flash, the Violet Night Hall Lord's tightly guarded mind was shaken. Oh no! The Violet Night Hall Lord couldn't help but send his mind into Zhao Feng's left eye. A moment later, he found himself in a dream dimension. The scene in the space showed the area around Spirit Grass Gate, the place where he and Zhao Feng had just fought. However, the Spirit Grass Gate in front of him right now was like a dream or fantasy, dazzling and magnificent. Everything before him seemed like something that could only happen in a dream, yet it gave the Violet Night Hall Lord an incomparably realistic feeling. Violet Night Hall Master! Nearby, the Golden Dragon Valley Master and the other half-step God Lords couldn't help but call out in alarm. They're here too? These half-step God Lords also gave the Violet Night Hall Lord an extremely realistic feeling. All sorts of strange phenomena made the Violet Night Hall Lord feel uneasy. He prepared to use some means to leave this strange space. At this moment, whoosh! In the distance, Zhao Feng's figure emerged. Oh! Some little fellows have also come here. Zhao Feng looked at the Golden Dragon Valley Master and the others. His intrusive dream was primarily targeted at the Violet Night Hall Lord, but these half-step God Lords were nearby, so they were also affected by the intrusive dream. Moreover, they were only half-step God Lords, so their resistance was extremely weak. They didn't even feel anything as they entered Zhao Feng's dream dimension. Then let's die together! Zhao Feng laughed. Laughable! You think you can kill me? The Violet Night Hall Lord felt like he had heard the funniest joke in the world. Violet Night Hall Lord, we will assist you in killing this boy! The Golden Dragon Valley Master's expression darkened. The Violet Night Hall Lord nodded. He had suffered time and time again at Zhao Feng's hands, and at this time, he was not very confident in dealing with Zhao Feng. However, if he had the help of these people, he would have a much higher chance of success. But just when the Violet Night Hall Lord was prepared to move, he realized that he was stuck in a quagmire, his movements extremely slow. On the other side, the 6 half-step God Lords were even more immobile. Bzzz. At the same time, several thousand Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning swords appeared in the dreamy sky. How could this be? The Violet Night Hall Lord blurted out in shock. After fighting with Zhao Feng, he knew the power of this move, and Zhao Feng could only form 2 Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning swords at most. But now, several thousand Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning swords had appeared in the sky without warning. No, what's going on here? The other 6 half-step God Lords were scared out of their wits. Why had they suddenly become as weak as ants while Zhao Feng was unimaginably powerful? There's something strange about this dimension. The Violet Night Hall Lord's consciousness erupted with a peerless will. In a flash, the entire dream dimension began to show signs of instability. The 1,000 Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning swords in the sky began to sway, and some of them even shattered. But losing a few didn't have much effect. As expected of a second heaven God Lord. Even though you've entered my dream dimension, you can still resist. Zhao Feng's expression darkened as he waved his hand. Swoosh! Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning swords rained down from the sky like a rain of swords. Oh no! The Violet Night Hall Lord sensed that his life was in danger, and his mind exploded with even more soul energy, causing the entire dimension to sway. Thish! A Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning sword stabbed into the Violet Night Hall Lord's left shoulder. The intense pain made the Violet Night Hall Lord even more clear-headed. The desire to live caused the Violet Night Hall Lord's mind to erupt with unprecedented intent. Kaboom! The entire dream space became transparent and thin. The power of the descending Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning swords also dropped. Although a few managed to hit the Violet Night Hall Lord, the damage was rather weak. Bzzz. The Violet Night Hall Lord's body gradually became transparent as he left this place. But the 6 half-step God Lords were pierced by the rain of swords, their bodies collapsing into nothingness. In the outside world, the Violet Night Hall Lord's mind returned to his body, a weak expression on his face. He touched the wound on his left shoulder and the other wounds on his body, a dazed expression on his face. Everything he had experienced just now was like a nightmare. But now that he woke up, everything that had happened in the dream had actually happened to him. Nearby, he could sense the auras of 6 fallen half-step god lords. Just what sort of ability is this? The Violet Night Hall Lord was stunned. Earlier, Zhao Feng had suddenly changed the trajectory of his attack and injured him. Now, Zhao Feng had broken his killing move, causing him to fall for it again. And this time, the ability that Zhao Feng had used was even more absurd. He actually managed to escape. Zhao Feng looked at the Violet Night Hall Lord in surprise. He had used the intrusive dream ability very few times, so he didn't have a very good understanding of its limits. And the Violet Night Hall Lord was the first person to escape from his dream dimension. Zhao Feng, Violet Night Hall will not pursue your actions. The Violet Night Hall Lord looked at Zhao Feng, his mind instantly seized with fear. Moreover, he had consumed an enormous amount of soul energy when breaking free from the dream dimension, and coupled with his heavy injuries, it was not advisable for him to continue fighting. If Zhao Feng used that absurd ability again, he might really end up dying here. The Violet Night Hall Lord transformed into a dark stream of violet light that swiftly departed. On the edge, the 3 people who had come with the Violet Night Hall Lord left with him. Zhao Feng watched as the Violet Night Hall Lord left, but he did not pursue. He had just used intrusive dream to pull the mind of a second heaven god lord into the dream dimension. This was already very difficult and very exhausting. In addition, this was the Gulong Zone. If he wanted to kill the Violet Night Hall Lord, the other 5-star factions would not sit idly by. Even a sacred land might intervene. The world gradually returned to normal. In all directions, everyone was stunned on the spot. The Violet Night Hall Lord ran? I even saw the injuries on the Violet Night Hall Lord's body. I didn't think that the Violet Night Hall Lord would be defeated. The crowd was in an uproar. But the members of the Sky Water Yao race and Golden Dragon Valley also realized that the half-step god lords of their factions had disappeared. Die! Zhao Feng looked at the distant Yellow Dragon Pavilion and Nether Ghost race and thrust out a finger. A bolt of Cave's origin divine power shot forward. Spare me, Your Excellency! Run! All the members of the 2 factions wanted to run. But they realized that their movements and thoughts had become extremely slow. All they could see was the descending bolt of Chaos origin divine power. Boom! Bang! An ordinary bolt of Chaos origin divine power exploded in the distance, its massive range affecting the 2 factions. When the dust settled, there was no one left. Run! Seeing this, the rest of the members quickly retreated. With the Violet Night Hall Lord fleeing, no one present could last a single blow from Zhao Feng. In the distant valley, the Violet Night Hall Lord was actually defeated. 9th God Eye, you truly did not disappoint me, and you will not disappoint that Lord. God Lord Tyrant Dragon's eyes shone and his arms trembled, but in the end, he put them down. A few moments later, there was no one around Spirit Grass Gate. The black figure in the distant valley also gradually began to recede. In the following period of time, no one came to make trouble for Zhao Feng. Now that Yellow Dragon Pavilion and the Nether Ghost race had been destroyed and Spirit Grass Gate was rebuilt, it immediately sent people to occupy them. In this way, Spirit Grass Gate's territory tripled and it also obtained a massive amount of resources. It wouldn't be long before Spirit Grass Gate surpassed its former glory. Because of Zhao Feng's influence, no one dared to touch the fat piece of meat that was Spirit Grass Gate. 3 months later, Han Ninger decided to return to the life-sacred land. Only there would her future be better, and this was what Spirit Grass Gate hoped for. One day, Zhao Feng, Xiahou Wu, and Han Ninger left Spirit Grass Gate. Although the journey was long, with Zhao Feng's status as a god lord, he could use the teleportation array of a 5-star faction of the Gulong Zone unconditionally. When he arrived at Violet Night Hall even prepared a small gift for Zhao Feng. Swish! Through Violet Night Hall's teleportation array, the 3 arrived at the edge of Violet Night Hall's territory. The three then headed toward another 5-star faction. After advancing for a while, Zhao Feng suddenly stopped. "What's wrong?" Xiahou Wu and Han Ning were confused. "Good sir, show yourself." Zhao Feng's expression was indifferent. Whoosh! A black figure shot out of the distant clouds and appeared in front of the trio. In a flash, an energy that could suppress the heavens and earth was unleashed. "So strong! A second heaven!" Xiahou Wu's body trembled, his face turning stiff. This expert that had suddenly appeared gave him the feeling that he was even stronger than the Violet Night Hall Lord. If not for Zhao Feng's presence, he and Han Ning would have already exploded under this pressure. "Good sir, what business do you have waiting for this Zhao here?" They had traveled through a teleportation array. This person lying in ambush here meant that he knew the route Zhao Feng's group was taking. This also meant that this person had a massive faction backing him. And this was the Gulong Zone. The first thing Zhao Feng thought of was the 3 5-star factions of the Gulong Zone. "Ninth God Eye, you don't need to go anywhere." God Lord Tyrant Dragon looked at Zhao Feng's left eye with unconcealable excitement. Chapter 1466. Ninth God Eye, there's no need for you to go anywhere. God Lord Tyrant Dragon stared at Zhao Feng's left eye, his eyes brimming with excitement. Zhao Feng's eyes flashed. It wasn't strange for this person to know about the ninth God Eye, but for this person to say these words made his goal extremely clear: the ninth God Eye. "The two of you go first." Zhao Feng messaged Xiahou Wu and Han Ninger as he stared at the person in front of him. The fact that this second heaven God Lord knew their route meant that he had an extremely large intelligence network. Thus, there was no way he didn't know that Zhao Feng had forced back the second heaven Violet Night Hall Lord. He clearly knew that Zhao Feng was powerful, but he still dared to come alone. This made Zhao Feng even more cautious. Just in case, he had Xiahou Wu and Han Ning leave. Swoosh! Swoosh! Xiahou Wu and Han Ning immediately left. The two of them would not be able to interfere in a God-Lord battle and would only get in the way. In addition, Xiahou Wu had also sensed God-Lord Tyrant Dragon's power. This was probably going to be a tough battle, so they could not disturb Zhao Feng. God-Lord Tyrant Dragon's eyes remained fixed on Zhao Feng, completely ignoring the departing Xiahou Wu and Han Ninger. "If you are willing to offer up your eye, I can spare your life and even allow you to join my faction," God Lord Tyrant Dragon calmly said. "What faction do you belong to?" Zhao Feng immediately asked. In his view, only the 3 5-star factions of the Gulong Zone and the Sacred Land had such a large intelligence network that could grasp the movements of a God Lord. The 3 5-star factions were very unlikely, so the most likely was the Gulong Zone's heaven-devouring Sacred Land. "Offer up the ninth God Eye, and I'll tell you!" God Lord Tyrant Dragon savagely smiled. If Zhao Feng was willing to offer up the ninth God Eye, it would prove that Zhao Feng truly wanted to join his faction. "If you want it, then come and take it." Zhao Feng's expression turned serious, and pure divine power began to circulate from his god altar. "I will definitely obtain the ninth God Eye." God Lord Tyrant Dragon coldly snorted, forbidden bloodline energy gathering in his body. Boom! Endless scarlet-black dragon flames gushed out from each slit of his scales. Shortly after, the entire sky was dyed into a sea of black fire. An oppressive aura of disaster descended upon Zhao Feng, who was in the middle of the sea of fire. "Destruction Dragon Tribe!" Zhao Feng was slightly shocked. He had felt it before, but now that he saw it with his own eyes, he was even more shocked. This was the second destruction dragon he had seen, aside from the Black Destruction Dragon. Moreover, this person with the Destruction Dragon race bloodline was also a second heaven god lord. It was hard to imagine just how strong he was. Within the space-time rogue dimension, the Black Destruction Dragon's bloodline trembled. "What's going on? What a powerful Destruction Dragon race bloodline!" The Black Destruction Dragon was astonished. "World-destroying Dragon Blast!" God Lord Tyrant Dragon waved his claws. The scarlet-black flames instantly condensed into two fire dragons that charged at Xiao Feng. Before the attack even arrived, Xiao Feng already sensed danger. As expected of the destruction dragon race, their attacks can destroy the world. Xiao Feng did not dare to be careless and immediately used his Chaos Origin divine power to use the Chaos Heaven black hole. Hisses. A pitch-black halo engulfed Xiao Feng, exuding a twisting and devouring energy. Of course, even if he used the Chaos Heaven black hole, Xiao Feng would not take God Lord Tyrant Dragon's attack head-on. God Lord Tyrant Dragon's attack was much stronger than the Violet Night Hall Lord's, and the Chaos Heaven black hole might not necessarily be able to take it. Maintaining the Chaos Heaven black hole, Xiao Feng rapidly moved. Buzz. Bzzz. Chaos Origin divine power extended from each side of the Chaos Heaven black hole, instantly condensing into a Chaos Origin divine sword. The Chaos Origin divine sword began to crackle with lightning as it slashed at God Lord Tyrant Dragon. Humph! God Lord Tyrant Dragon coldly snorted and charged forward without dodging. Boom! Black and red draconic flames erupted as God Lord Tyrant Dragon transformed into a pitch-black dragon that opened its savage maw and unleashed destructive dragon flames. Clink-clang! One of Zhao Feng's Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning swords was bitten by God Lord Tyrant Dragon while the other slashed at his body, leaving behind a wound. However, the Destruction Dragon race possessed the Destruction Dragon body, so even Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning swords could recover rather quickly. On the other side, God Lord Tyrant Dragon spat out a ball of destructive dragon flames that traveled along the Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning swords toward Zhao Feng. Bzzz. Zhao Feng had no choice but to withdraw his Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning sword. So troublesome! Zhao Feng's expression darkened. As a second Heaven God Lord Tyrant Dragon could probably crush the Violet Night Hall Lord. Kid, don't you still have the ancestral artifact fragment? God Lord Tyrant Dragon roared as he charged at Xiao Feng. What? Xiao Feng was stunned. God Lord Tyrant Dragon actually knew that he had an ancestral artifact fragment. But when he thought about it, he remembered that he had used the ancestral artifact fragment in the scorching underworld, so more and more people knew about it. If you don't take it out, you won't get another chance. God Lord Tyrant Dragon rapidly approached Zhao Feng, his bloodline energy making Zhao Feng feel very uncomfortable. Swish! At this moment, a black piece of metal appeared next to God Lord Tyrant Dragon, exuding a dreadful energy that could destroy all. The moment this metal piece appeared, all the destruction dragon flames in the world began to gather around it. This dreadful energy made even Zhao Feng tremble in fear. Ancestral artifact fragment! Zhao Feng blurted out in shock. Yes, the black metal piece that God Lord Tyrant Dragon had taken out was also an ancestral artifact fragment. Boom! The ancestral artifact fragment slashed through the air, unleashing a wave of black flame. Wherever the black flame light wave passed, even space itself would distort, and be tainted with traces of black flames. Swish! At this moment, Xiao Feng no longer dared to hold anything back and immediately took out the ancestral artifact fragment. The moment the time-type ancestral artifact fragment appeared, white light began to spread through the world, somewhat suppressing the flames. Time slash! Zhao Feng swung the ancestral artifact fragment, unleashing a massive crystalline white blade. Everything around this blade became extremely slow. But the crystalline white blade itself was extremely fast, and it instantly reached the wave of black flame and slammed into it. Boom! Bang! The time and destruction laws clashed, unleashing a wave of black and white light. God Lord Tyrant Dragon ignored this shockwave, relying on his powerful Destruction Dragon body to rapidly approach Xiao Feng. Destruction Dragon soar! He opened his mouth, unleashing a savage black dragon at Xiao Feng. This black flame dragon was identical to God Lord Tyrant Dragon, almost like a clone. The only difference was that this dragon was formed from condensed Destruction Dragon flames. So powerful! a second heaven destruction dragon, and an ancestral artifact fragment. In addition, this person's talent for combat, experience, and techniques are all extraordinary. Zhao Feng's heart tightened. The black flame dragon was about to attack, and its attack range was so vast that it would be difficult to dodge. And the Chaos Heaven black hole would probably find it difficult to block. Bzzz. A determined look appeared on Zhao Feng's face, and his left eye flashed with dreamy light. The ninth God Eye? God Lord Tyrant Dragon's eyes flashed in anticipation. Dreamification! Dreamy mist began to spin out of Zhao Feng's left eye and seep into the world. In a flash, everything in front of him was covered in dreamy colors, dazzling and beautiful. But now was not the time to appreciate the scenery. The danger was still approaching. Break! Zhao Feng's consciousness focused on the flaming dragon in front of him. He thrust out a finger, firing off a bolt of Chaos Origin Divine Light. Pop! When the mixed origin Divine Light touched the flame dragon suddenly dissipated like a bubble. The Chaos Origin Divine Light passed through it, and vanished into the distance. Oh! This is the mystical ability of the ninth God Eye. God Lord Tyrant Dragon was pleasantly surprised. He had never seen this ability before. Even after seeing it for himself, he still couldn't understand the principles behind it. God Eye Duplication, Destruction Dragon Soar. Zhao Feng's left eye thrummed with origin energy. God Lord Tyrant Dragon, who was charging at Zhao Feng, suddenly stopped and sent his divine sense behind him. A dreamy silver eye that filled the sky was embedded in heaven and earth. At this moment, even his destruction dragon race bloodline felt suppressed. Buzz! Bzzz! A dreamy mist emerged from the silver eye. Suddenly, a destruction black dragon flew out of the mist, bearing its fangs and claws as it charged at God Lord Tyrant Dragon. This is... God Lord Tyrant Dragon was struck dumb. Zhao Feng had used the powerful combat skill he had just used. But that was impossible. This was a bloodline skill of the Destruction Dragon race, and Zhao Feng didn't have the Destruction Dragon flame, so how could he use it? But when he thought about the ninth God Eye, God Lord Tyrant Dragon stopped worrying. Kaboom! The Destruction Black Dragon crashed into God Lord Tyrant Dragon, its endless black flames igniting him. The Destruction Dragon race had the powerful Destruction Dragon body and Destruction Dragon flame. To a certain extent, these two energies could counter each other. Kaboom! God Lord Tyrant Dragon's body was covered in scorch marks, and the Destruction Dragon flame seethed. Chaos Origin Divine Sword. Zhao Feng's left eye immediately fired off a miniature Chaos Origin Divine Sword. The moment the Chaos Origin Divine Sword shot out, his left eye fired off several other powerful eye bloodline techniques, including the Tribulation Lightning Eye Flame, the Earth-Shaking Nova, and the Blazing Soul Devil Eye. All of these eye bloodline techniques were unleashed at almost the same time. This had happened before, and Zhao Feng couldn't understand why. But now, he was certain that this was also a manifestation of his come-true ability. He urgently wanted to unleash these eye bloodline techniques, so that they could be completed with incredible speed. Boom! Bang! Crash! Various powerful energies exploded on God Lord Tyrant Dragon's body. Time slash. The ancestral artifact fragment returned to Zhao Feng's hand, and he swung it a few times, unleashing several massive white crystal blades. God Lord Tyrant Dragon's ancestral artifact fragment had its own consciousness, and it unleashed powerful attacks in an attempt to block for its master. But one ancestral artifact fragment was attacking on its own while the other was being controlled by someone else. There was still a gap between the two. Boom! Bang! Crash! The black and white flames exploded, and a white crystal blade flew out and struck God Lord Tyrant Dragon. Go! Zhao Feng's expression turned grave as he circulated his space-time energy and fled. Although he had the advantage for now, the battle just now had consumed a significant amount of energy. Especially when using a law and using the Dream God Eye's abilities. Moreover, God Lord Tyrant Dragon was a second heaven, and his bloodline was ranked in the top 10 of the ancient races. He had deep reserves, and there was no guarantee that he had any trump cards. Victory would be extremely difficult, and he would probably have to pay an enormous price. A few moments after Xiao Feng left. Damn! He actually ran! God Lord Tyrant Dragon raised his head to the sky and howled. The last time Slash had struck him, and the time law energy had affected his body, causing his recovery speed, thoughts, and movements to slow down. Otherwise, Xiao Feng would not have been able to escape so easily. But God Lord Tyrant Dragon was heavily injured. Even if he caught up, his chances of victory were not very high. More importantly, Xiao Feng had the time ancestral artifact fragment. God Lord Tyrant Dragon probably wouldn't be able to catch up. Chapter 1467. In his first clash with the ninth God Eye, God Lord Tyrant Dragon had failed. No, how could I fail? A hint of panic appeared on God Lord Tyrant Dragon's face as if he had thought of something terrifying. Buzz. Bzzz. Spatial ripples began to revolve around God Lord Tyrant Dragon. Gradually, the spatial vortex became smaller and smaller, but the spatial ripples only intensified. Swish! A moment later, God Lord Tyrant Dragon's body vanished along with the spatial vortex. God Lord Tyrant Dragon used spatial shift to quickly return to the hidden faction in the Gulong Zone's wretched Ghost Valley, the demon-defying palace. The secret hall was deathly silent. All the members knew that God Lord Tyrant Dragon had failed. Of course, even they were shocked. How could someone of God Lord Tyrant Dragon's strength have failed? Expand the intelligence network for me. If there is any news of Xiao Feng, report it to me immediately. God Lord Tyrant Dragon clenched his teeth and said, Yes. In the main hall, several people in charge of intelligence immediately responded. At this moment, a strange ripple came from God Lord Tyrant Dragon's interspatial dimension. His expression suddenly changed, and he took out an octagonal ancient token. The moment this token appeared, everyone else got down on one knee in shock and piously prostrated themselves. Buzz. Bzzz. The token rippled with chaotic streams of light that formed a hazy mist. Within the hazy mist of light, there was a tall and imposing figure that resembled a blurry shadow. Lord Protector! God Lord Tyrant Dragon had a respectful expression, but he was inwardly panicking. You failed? A cold voice came from within. These words caused not just God Lord Tyrant Dragon, but all the experts in the hall to break out in a cold sweat as if they could already sense death approaching. Please give me another chance. I will capture Xiao Feng as quickly as possible. God Lord Tyrant Dragon panicked as he hastily said. Okay. I'll give you a chance to make up for your mistakes, the blurry voice calmly said. God Lord Tyrant Dragon and all the experts of the demon-defying palace breathed a sigh of relief. The divine emissary has been mobilized. Assist him with all your strength. After the voice came from the hazy mist of light, it disappeared into thin air. Divine emissary! The eyes of the members in the hall constricted as if they had thought of something terrifying. I didn't expect that even the divine emissaries would be dispatched. God Lord Tyrant Dragon took in a deep breath. Divine emissaries were peak experts of enormous powers. Unless something major happened, they wouldn't reveal themselves to the world. But this time, the divine emissary had been dispatched. Xiao Feng, let's see where you can run to now. God Lord Tyrant Dragon's eyes gleamed with a savage light as he vanished into the flames. On the other side, Xiao Feng, who had escaped unscathed, did not find Xiaohou and Han Ning'er after flying for a distance. As such, Xiao Feng decided to use teleportation to return to the spirit race. He sat cross-legged in the void and fell asleep. This time, the place that Xiao Feng was thinking of was his residence in the spirit race. Once the scene at the destination changed, the teleportation would fail. He believed that there shouldn't be any changes to his residence. The Astrals. Buzz. Inside a palace in the core disciple domain, a distorted dreamy luster suddenly appeared. Then, a figure appeared from within the light. "I'm back!" Zhao Feng opened his eyes in pleasant surprise. He then left his residence and headed for the spiritual race's forbidden ground to report to the second elder. After all, it had been a very long time since he had left the spiritual race. "Zhao Feng, you're back!" The second elder was flabbergasted. When he learned of the rumors about Zhao Feng and the ninth god eye, he had been extremely worried. In the eyes of the world, the 8 great god eyes were the symbols of god kings, the supreme experts of the ancient desolate realm of gods. But this newly appeared ninth god eye had not yet matured to that level. In these circumstances, many factions would choose to rope in and befriend Zhao Feng. But even more factions might choose to steal the ninth god eye. Possessing the ninth god eye was equivalent to having a chance of becoming a god king. This was a great temptation to everyone, especially the divine masters of level 2 and level 3 heavens. When Zhao Feng disappeared, the second elder believed that Zhao Feng had died to someone else. Fortunately, Zhao Feng had safely returned. "How is Yufei?" Zhao Feng asked in concern. Once she learned of this, she worked even harder to cultivate. "She said that she wanted to protect you." The second elder shook his head and smiled. Zhao Feng also felt a warmth in his heart, and he smiled. The leak of information about the ninth god eye truly was a major problem. For example, God Lord Tyrant Dragon had targeted Zhao Feng for the ninth god eye. This sort of thing would not be rare in the future. At this moment, Zhao Feng could be described as a major problem, a star of calamity. Everyone would either fear him or fight over him. But Zhao Yufei was worried about what Zhao Feng was worried about. She wanted to get stronger so that she could bear the burden together with Zhao Feng. "No one can take the ninth god eye away from me!" Zhao Feng's eyes were firm and determined. Obtaining the ninth god eye truly was the greatest opportunity of his life, but he also had to bear the risk. "I want to be so strong that no one will dare to have any designs on the ninth god eye." Zhao Feng's will to fight began to blaze. For the sake of his life, he had to rapidly grow. The second elder was correct. Second heaven god lords were not the only ones who desired the ninth god eye. There were also third heavens. "Elder, are there any cultivation techniques for first heaven god lords and above?" Zhao Feng asked. The Chaos Heaven Void Origin technique could only be cultivated to the peak of the first heaven. Although one could not use a cultivation technique, they could slowly advance or create their own and slowly explore. But this took too much time, severely hindering Zhao Feng's goal of rapid growth. "The spiritual race does have a cultivation technique that can be cultivated to the third heaven, but it is only suitable for the spiritual race bloodline." The second elder shook his head. Zhao Feng was not surprised by this result. The reason there were so few god lords was partly related to the cultivation technique. After all, it was far too difficult to find a suitable cultivation technique, and an unsuitable cultivation technique would affect one's future potential. After chatting for a while, Zhao Feng returned to his residence. At his current level, the Chaos Heaven Void Origin technique was enough for him to continue cultivating. Within the space-time robe, Zhao Feng entered seclusion. He had just become a god lord. Although his foundation was firm, it was still rather rushed. 3 years quickly passed within the space-time robe. In this period of time, Zhao Feng had been consolidating his cultivation strength. Within his body, the gloomy god altar was covered in strange inscriptions that would occasionally flash with light. At this moment, Zhao Feng's god altar was much sturdier than when he first broke through. At this moment, Zhao Yufei came to find him. "Brother Feng, it's great that you're fine." Zhao Yufei threw herself at him, her jade-like face resting on Zhao Feng's chest. In the continent zone, she had suspected that Zhao Feng was the ninth god eye. But after coming to the ancient desolate realm of gods and learning of the power of god eyes, she had dispelled this thought. She had never imagined that Zhao Feng really did possess the ninth god eye. "It won't be long before I become a half-step god lord, and with the heaven void god origin ginseng, I'll be able to become a god lord," Zhao Yufei seriously said. She was already a peak rank 9, but this was far from enough. She urgently wanted to increase her cultivation level so that she could help Zhao Feng. "There's no need to be in such a rush. I can protect myself." Zhao Feng tightly hugged the beauty in his arms, his will to fight intensifying. The news of his return was kept strictly confidential and had not been leaked out. Thus, Zhao Feng rarely went out, and Zhao Yufei only stayed here for a while before returning. "Now I can begin to form my divine kingdom." Zhao Feng continued his seclusion. Only a god lord with a law could form a divine kingdom. The dimension of a divine kingdom was extremely compatible with the ancient desolate realm of gods, and it was even more unique. It could be used to plant all sorts of natural resources and raise rare beasts. The dimension of a divine kingdom was incredibly tough. Even god lords of the same level would find it very difficult to force their way in. If a god altar was the source of a god lord's power, then a divine kingdom was the second source. A divine kingdom could store energy for its owner to use. Similarly, a powerful divine kingdom could also be used as a means of battle. But a normal god lord would not take out a divine kingdom unless they were in mortal danger. The creation of a divine kingdom was extremely difficult. God lords had to spend an enormous amount of time and resources to create it. "I have enough resources to create a divine kingdom, but in terms of time," Zhao Feng fell into thought. Based on what he knew, a normal god lord would need several thousand years or even 10,000 years to create a divine kingdom. This period of time was nothing to a normal god lord, but to Zhao Feng, it was extremely long. Suddenly, Zhao Feng recalled the divine kingdom auction. A divine kingdom had been auctioned off for the high price of 11 million. This was because this divine kingdom could be directly refined into one's divine kingdom. Although the compatibility was not very high, it saved a great deal of time and resources. Directly refining a divine kingdom is much simpler than creating a divine kingdom. Zhao Feng couldn't help but begin to think. He had quite a few high-quality god crystals on hand. Perhaps he could consider buying a divine kingdom. But finding a divine kingdom that suited him was far too difficult. Does the ancient dream realm count as a divine kingdom? Zhao Feng suddenly remembered that his god's spiritual eye had a special dimension. The ancient dream realm was connected to the dream god eye, so it was undoubtedly suitable for the illusion god eye. Moreover, the structure of the ancient dream realm was not an ordinary dimension. It was very similar to the ancient desolate realm of gods. However, Zhao Feng had entered the light race's divine kingdom before, and the ancient dream realm was apparently much larger than the light race's divine kingdom. "Let's give it a try." When he thought of this, Zhao Feng became rather excited and decided to give it a try. If he really could refine the ancient dream realm into his divine kingdom, then this divine kingdom would be suitable for him. He wouldn't need to worry about his future potential, and he would also be able to save a great deal of time. Swish! Zhao Feng's body vanished as he entered the ancient dream realm. In the territory of the blood-flame Qilin race, Zhao Feng entered seclusion. Bzzz. His soul intent left his body and fused with the world. At this moment, Zhao Feng felt like everything within a radius of several 100,000 li was under his control. In this area, he could kill anyone he wanted with a single thought. Bzzz. His eye intent surged out and fused with his soul intent, transforming into a massive silver eye of heaven. At this moment, the feeling of being in control of everything intensified, and its range increased by 10 times. It should work! Zhao Feng had an intense feeling. Chapter 1468. It should work! Zhao Feng had an intense feeling. When he activated the Dream God Eye and fused it with the Ancient Dream Realm, he sensed a connection between the Ancient Dream Realm and the Dream God Eye. At this moment, his control over the Ancient Dream Realm had increased by several dozen times. He could even sense places even further away, but his control was not strong enough. If I want to refine the Ancient Dream Realm, it should be easier to start with the Dream God Eye. Zhao Feng made his decision after thinking for a few moments. Swish! He immediately got up and flew deeper into the Ancient Dream Realm. Only after encountering quite a few powerful God Lord ancient beasts did Zhao Feng slow down. As he passed by an icy valley, the temperature within the valley plummeted. "Human, you dare intrude on my territory!" A cold and sinister voice came out of the cold mist, and this cold intent invaded Zhao Feng's soul. Swish! In a flash, the lightning patterns in Zhao Feng's lightning soul body were activated, and the cold energy was pulverized. This! At this moment, a gray-white ghost appeared in front of Zhao Feng. The Ice Soul Race, ranked 44th among the 10,000 ancient races. Zhao Feng immediately recognized this ancient race. The Ice Soul Race was similar to the Ancient Soul Race in that they were also a race that cultivated the Soul Tao. The soul bodies of this race contained ice energy that could be used for both offense and defense. This Ice Soul Race expert was a First Heaven God Lord, and its Soul Tao attacks could even threaten a peak First Heaven. Scram! Zhao Feng's soul intent soared into the sky and fused with the ancient dream realm. At this moment, the world was under Zhao Feng's control. Under the power of the world, Zhao Feng's strength multiplied while the Ice Soul Race expert was greatly suppressed. Boom! A powerful soul will surged out and sent the Ice Soul Race expert flying out of the valley. "This is the place where I'll refine the Divine Kingdom and form its core." After making up his mind, his eye intent spread out and fused with his soul intent to form an eye of heaven. Buzz! Bzzz! Zhao Feng circulated the divine power in his god altar and fused it with his soul intent. So easy! Zhao Feng was surprised. The time needed to refine a god nation was relatively short, but that was only relative to the time needed to form a god nation. However, Zhao Feng discovered that his divine power and soul power had easily seeped into this space and fused with it. Continue! Zhao Feng was pleasantly surprised and continued to refine it. Although the refining process was relatively easy, the ancient dream realm was much larger than an ordinary divine kingdom. In the following days, he refined the ancient dream realm. The refining process required a high level of control over one's soul strength. It was also a form of tempering one's soul will. In half a year, Zhao Feng's soul will had successfully reached the peak of the First Heaven. He had refined almost 1/10 of the entire ancient dream realm. This 10th of the region was under his control. Zhao Wan led the army of the ancient dream realm here to settle down. The region that Zhao Feng had refined could be considered the center of the ancient dream realm. The heaven earth yuan qi and resources were better than the previous places. Zhao Feng also planned to build the core of his god nation here. 2 years later, the ancient dream realm was basically half refined. On this day, Zhao Feng stopped refining and rested for a while. Continuously using soul power to refine the ancient dream realm had a great impact on his mind. When he stopped refining, Zhao Feng searched for treasures in the region he had successfully refined. He took all the inheritances of various sizes for himself. Almost none of the inheritances Zhao Feng needed, but he could give them to the army of the ancient dream realm to train and increase their strength. Zhao Feng also started to divide up some of the natural resources to cultivate. A few days later, Zhao Feng left the ancient dream realm and returned to the spiritual race. Did something happen? With a sweep of his divine sense, Zhao Feng found that there were fewer core disciples of the spiritual race than before. The atmosphere of the spiritual race was also rather strange. Zhao Feng went to the Forbidden Grounds and found the second elder. "The news of your return to the spiritual race has probably spread," the second elder sighed. For some reason, the news of Zhao Feng's return to the spiritual race had been discovered by a few intelligence organizations. The Xiling Zone and the nearby zones, both on the surface and in the shadows, had begun to pay attention to this matter. They would not openly attack the spiritual race, but they would make some small moves in the shadows, such as killing the spiritual race disciples that had gone out to obtain information on Zhao Feng. Recently, there were even quite a few experts who wanted to infiltrate the spiritual race. The spiritual race had discovered quite a few of these people, but there were probably some that the spiritual race had not been able to find. Zhao Feng's expression was extremely gloomy, and he said nothing. If this continued, the spiritual race would slowly be consumed and weakened. Once it reached a certain point, a major incident might occur. The spiritual race had just experienced a great war, and had only just recovered its strength with great difficulty. If this continued, even if the other factions did not act, the blazing gold race would. Second Elder, in a little while, I will go out to temper myself, Zhao Feng firmly said. Zhao Feng, you absolutely cannot. It's far too dangerous for you to leave the spiritual race. The second elder's expression flickered. Zhao Feng was a member of the spiritual race, and he also possessed the ninth god eye. Once he matured, he would become a god king. Coupled with the relationship between Zhao Yufei and Zhao Feng, even if the spiritual race could not become a sacred land, it would still reap massive benefits. Thus, the spiritual race's stance was to protect Zhao Feng. But the spiritual race could not protect Zhao Feng. The second elder could also tell that Zhao Feng did not want to implicate the spiritual race, which was why he had made this decision. The path of any expert is bound to be covered in thorns and drenched in blood, Zhao Feng calmly said. He could not remain in the spiritual race forever, and true experts did not emerge from seclusion, but from slaughter. In the outside world, countless people wanted to seize his ninth god eye. Zhao Feng wasn't going to be polite. Those who wanted to steal his god eye would become his stepping stones, helping him grow even faster and get stronger. Also, I have to go find the little thieving cat. Zhao Feng felt rather helpless. When his god eye awakened and he fell into a deep slumber, he used thought teleportation to return to the continent zone, but he left the little thieving cat behind. The little thieving cat was a Heaven's Legacy cat, and if it was discovered by someone who knew its secret, it would also be in danger. Of course, Zhao Feng felt that the thieving cat was definitely living a better life than he was. Okay. Be careful on your journey. The second elder could not refute Zhao Feng's words, and he even somewhat admired Zhao Feng's mentality. After returning to his residence and tidying up, he secretly left the spiritual race. At Zhao Feng's level, only a second heaven god lord skilled in the soul Dao or space Dao would be able to discover his whereabouts. It was obvious that there was no second heaven god lord hiding in the vicinity of the spiritual race to personally monitor him. Thus, Zhao Feng was able to smoothly leave the spiritual race without anyone noticing. Half a month after his departure, the second elder revealed that Zhao Feng had left. Of course, this was at Zhao Feng's behest. Once this news was spread, the spiritual race was no longer targeted. 3 months later, Zhao Yufei emerged from her seclusion. Upon learning that Zhao Feng had left the spiritual race, she decided to go out and temper herself. Although the second elder did his utmost to dissuade her, she failed. This was because Zhao Yufei had promised that she was not going to find Zhao Feng, but to temper herself. 3 years had passed since Zhao Feng had left the spiritual race. There had always been news of Zhao Feng's appearance, but no one knew if it was true or not. In the Tianhe Zone, an extremely dangerous forbidden ground, the burning heaven sea, everywhere one looked, one could see golden red flames, as if the entire world was on fire. Any external object that entered would be corroded by the endless flames. It was rumored that once a second heaven god lord entered the burning heaven sea, he was attacked by a god lord Yao god. Although he managed to kill the Yao god in the end, he was completely corroded by the flames. Unable to extinguish the flames, he ended up becoming a part of the burning heaven sea. One day, a silver-haired youth calmly walked into the burning heaven sea. This person was none other than Zhao Feng. After leaving the spiritual race, he headed to the God Lord forbidden grounds of the various major zones. There weren't many people in these dangerous forbidden grounds, so there weren't many people who could find him. Zhao Feng could train his strength in these forbidden grounds. In these 3 years, he had gone to a total of 5 God Lord forbidden grounds. There was a forbidden ground called the Blood Spirit Hell that was the most dangerous of the 5. Unaware of the details, Zhao Feng charged into the center of the Blood Spirit Hell and was attacked by countless blood gods. There was even a third heaven blood god, forcing Zhao Feng to use powerful techniques to retreat. After this experience, Zhao Feng put away his underestimation. The ancient desolate realm of gods was enormous, and there were many danger zones that not even god kings would dare to recklessly enter. Kaboom! Zhao Feng slowly advanced through the sea of flames. He was not focused on body tempering, so the burning heaven sea had a significant effect on him. These flames are rather special. Zhao Feng couldn't help but think as he sensed the golden red flames of the burning heaven sea. These flames were extremely powerful, and he found them rather familiar. Boom! A scorching ripple of energy suddenly came from the distance. Amidst the surging waves of fire, a golden firebird suddenly attacked. The creatures that lived in the burning heaven sea could undoubtedly exert the greatest power. At this moment, the flames around him seemed several times fiercer, placing immense pressure on Zhao Feng. Kaith's origin divine sword! Zhao Feng condensed a broad silver sword and clashed with it. His goal was to temper himself, so sometimes, Zhao Feng would place restrictions on himself to achieve the best results. Bang! Zhao Feng's powerful Kaith's origin divine sword slashed at the golden bird of fire. The bird of fire was at the first heaven, so it was extremely powerful in the burning heaven sea. However, Zhao Feng only relied on the Kaith's origin divine sword to obtain an overwhelming advantage. This was also the result of his tempering in the past few years. At this moment, Zhao Feng suddenly sensed something strange. Immediately, a chaotic flow of primordial chaos energy revolved around him, concealing his appearance. Suddenly, a red figure appeared in the sea of flames to his right. Die! The red figure arrived in front of Zhao Feng and thrust out a giant palm of fire. Even the fire bird that was facing off against Zhao Feng was slightly frightened and quickly fled. Could it be that someone has discovered my tracks? Zhao Feng's eyes dimmed. Logically speaking, this was impossible. He hadn't encountered anything before entering the burning heaven sea, but he was ambushed by a god lord in the center. Chapter 1469. Could it be that someone has discovered my tracks? Zhao Feng's eyes dimmed. This was logically impossible. He hadn't noticed anything strange before entering the burning heaven sea, but while he was training in the center of the burning heaven sea, he was ambushed by a god lord. Moreover, this assailant was not to be underestimated. He was skilled in a fire law, and in an environment like the burning heaven sea, he was unprecedentedly powerful. Die! A red-haired elder with a venomous gaze appeared in the red light. Kaboom! He thrust his palms forward, unleashing several fiery palms that stirred up the endless flames of the burning heaven sea. At a glance, it was like several massive mountains of fire were smashing toward him. Zhao Feng gripped the Chaos Origin Divine Sword and quickly activated the Chaos Heaven Void Ring. Thish! Bam! Bam! He swung the Chaos Origin Divine Sword again and again against the fiery palms. If he couldn't deal with the attacks, he would use the Chaos Heaven Void Ring to absorb them. In this dangerous forbidden ground, the surroundings were brimming with powerful energy, and the Chaos Heaven Void Ring could constantly absorb it to strengthen itself. Whoosh! After blocking the red-haired elder's first round of attacks, Zhao Feng put some distance between himself and the elder. We've never met before. Good sir, perhaps there is some misunderstanding? Zhao Feng calmly said to the man. This red-haired elder gave off the feeling that he purely wanted to kill him, not steal the ninth god eye. It's fine if you don't know me, but it's fine if you do. The red-haired elder grunted as he charged forward again. Swish! A fire cloud saber appeared in his hand, its blade glimmering with blazing light and exuding monstrous power. In the clash just now, the red-haired elder had sensed that Zhao Feng's true strength was far greater than he had imagined, making him rather difficult to deal with. Thus, he had taken out his supreme quality divine artifact. Swoosh swoosh! As the saber danced, it unleashed fiery beams of light that pierced through the world like a surging river. Humph! Zhao Feng coldly snorted. From what he could see just now, the red-haired elder had not come for the ninth god eye. He might have some other reason for wanting to kill him, or perhaps he was just a bloodthirsty person. If this person wanted to kill him, Zhao Feng didn't need to waste any more words. Chaos Origin Tribulation Lightning Sword. The primordial chaos sword in Zhao Feng's hand suddenly emanated the power of tribulation lightning. In the blink of an eye, the Chaos Origin Divine Sword was wrapped in lightning and transformed into a Chaos Origin Tribulation Lightning Sword. Boom! Zhao Feng slashed out, and the enormous Mixed Origin Lightning Tribulation Sword light pierced through the sea of fire. Eh? The red-haired old man was shocked. The divine power that Zhao Feng unleashed at this moment was extraordinary. Boom! Bang! The Mixed Origin Lightning Tribulation Sword light slashed at a flaming blade and directly penetrated it, splitting it in half. Moreover, at the same time as it consumed its power, the Chaotic Origin Tribulation Lightning Sword was also absorbing power from the surroundings to strengthen itself. Ding! The red-haired old man brandished the fire cloud-long saber in his hand, shattering Zhao Feng's attack. This person, the red-haired old man pondered. Right at this moment, a powerful aura appeared behind Zhao Feng. Swift Wind Gate, retreat! The red-haired old man's expression changed slightly, and he immediately retreated. It didn't take long for an azure-robed middle-aged man to arrive. Good Sir was able to defeat Vermilion Bird Pavilion's Crimson Elder. It seems that your strength is extraordinary. Might Good Sir be a god lord? Perhaps this one has even heard of your great name. The azure-robed middle-aged man had a faint smile on his face. In the burning heaven sea, he gave off the feeling of a spring breeze. This one is Zhao Wang, a newly advanced god lord. I just happened to be passing by this place, but for some reason, I was suddenly attacked by Vermilion Bird Pavilion's Crimson Elder. Zhao Feng did not give his real name, instead using the name of his clone to probe. This was because Crimson Elder had suddenly left because he had seen the azure-robed middle-aged man. The people of Vermilion Bird Pavilion are extremely irascible and enjoy killing people for their treasures. If Good Sir does not mind, you can pay a visit to Swift Wind Gate. The azure-robed middle-aged man faintly smiled as he extended an invitation to Zhao Feng. No need. I'm just passing by. I won't be staying for long. Zhao Feng refused. Before the azure-robed middle-aged man arrived, his dream god eye had discovered him. At that time, the azure-robed middle-aged man's eyes were vicious and brimming with killing intent. But later, when the azure-robed middle-aged man noticed that Zhao Feng was fighting with Crimson Elder, his expression changed. He had only heard of the Vermilion Bird Pavilion and Swift Wind Gate mentioned by the azure-robed middle-aged man, and didn't know much else. Since that's the case, I will bid farewell. In addition, Good Sir is already approaching the center of the burning heaven sea. If you continue deeper, the flames there will be unbearable for even first heaven god lords. The azure-robed man put on a warm-hearted expression as he warned Zhao Feng. Farewell! Zhao Feng calmly said a few words before gradually departing. This time, he did not continue deeper into the burning heaven sea, but observed from the perimeter. Could there be something strange about this place? Zhao Feng was rather confused. Vermilion Bird Pavilion and Swift Wind Gate were 5-star factions of the Tianhe Zone. But why would the god lords of 5-star factions gather in the forbidden ground of the burning heaven sea? Upon careful observation, he realized that there were many weak divine power auras in the burning heaven sea. It was obvious that many people had appeared in the burning heaven sea recently. Logically speaking, dangerous forbidden grounds should be sparsely populated. The more dangerous a forbidden ground was, the harder it was to see a single person. Thus, there was definitely something strange about this place. At a certain place in the center of the burning heaven sea, a spatial passage suddenly appeared in front of the azure-robed middle-aged man. Whoosh! He flew in, and the passage immediately closed. He flew quickly and arrived at a white crystal palace. Bzzz. An illusory figure of white light suddenly appeared on a green jade throne in the palace. One could faintly make out an aged elder wearing a blue robe, exuding a tyrannical pressure that filled the entire palace. What's the situation? The blue-robed elder nonchalantly asked. It's not someone from Vermilion Bird Pavilion, the azure-robed middle-aged man indifferently said. You didn't get rid of him or drive him away? The blue-robed elder casually asked. It was best not to let outsiders know of their goal. Those who knew would either be temporary members of Swift Wind Gate or enemies of Swift Wind Gate. This person might be even stronger than Vermilion Bird Pavilion's elderchi. Although I sent an invitation, he did not agree. The azure-robed middle-aged man's gaze darkened. Following that, the azure-robed middle-aged man described the previous situation in detail. Keep a close eye on him. Vermilion Bird Pavilion definitely thinks that this person is from our Swift Wind Gate. Once this person is in danger, save him and do your best to rope him in. If he insists on leaving, then forget it. The blue-robed elder's eyes shone brightly. Yes, Gate Master. If this person is willing to help, our chances of obtaining that item will be greater. The azure-robed middle-aged man had a grim expression. Over the next few days, Zhao Feng roamed the burning heaven sea. However, he did not venture deep into the center of the burning heaven sea. At most, he roamed near the center. During this period, he tempered himself while investigating the oddities of this place. The person following me is from Swift Wind Gate. Zhao Feng had long discovered the person secretly following him. Although the other party's concealment skills were very profound, they still could not escape Zhao Feng's eyes. However, the other party did not show any obvious malice, and Zhao Feng did not plan to make a move. Suddenly, an oppressive energy came from the distant sea of flames. Oh no! Zhao Feng sensed intense hostility. The azure-robed middle-aged man behind him rejoiced. Vermilion Bird Pavilion couldn't help but take action. Haha, if this person is willing to join Swift Wind Gate, I truly have to thank Vermilion Bird Pavilion. The azure-robed middle-aged man continued to remain hidden. Boom! A yellow-robed elder with thick eyebrows and rough skin charged out of the sea of flames. Die! The moment the elder appeared, he unleashed powerful divine power. A layer of dark yellow energy appeared in the world, causing Zhao Feng's body to pause. Second heaven! Zhao Feng's eyes widened in shock. He had already expected this person to be from Vermilion Bird Pavilion, but he had not expected them to send a second heaven godlord. Boom! In the sky above Zhao Feng, vast amounts of divine power condensed into a massive mountain. As the flames roasted this mountain, it took on a dark red hue and exuded an even more intense pressure. At this moment, the azure-robed middle-aged man rapidly approached. Friend, you've been targeted by someone from Vermilion Bird Pavilion. This person is Second Heaven God Lord Vast Soul. Let's retreat. The azure-robed middle-aged man swiftly approached Zhao Feng, acting as if he had just seen an injustice and was ready to lend a hand. Zhao Feng was powerful, and he also had a few tricks up his sleeve. Even if the enemy was a Second Heaven God Lord, the two of them working together would be able to retreat and preserve their lives without any problems. Moreover, they could use this chance to rope in Zhao Feng and gain a powerful ally for Swift Wind Gate. Boom! Bang! The two of them attacked together, bombarding the dark yellow giant peak above them, shattering it. It really is Swift Wind Gate. No matter what tricks you have up your sleeves, this old man will leave you here today. God Lord Vast Soul coldly sneered as he unleashed a heaven-shaking pressure. Retreat! The azure-robed elder ignored God Lord Vast Soul. As long as he could bring Zhao Feng back to Swift Wind Gate, it would be a victory. But at this moment, the distant sea of flames exploded. Die! A red-haired elder suddenly appeared. This was none other than the Crimson Elder who had attacked Zhao Feng. Not good! There's another person! The azure-robed man grimaced. He hadn't expected for Vermilion Bird Pavilion to not only send a second heaven god lord, but also have the Crimson Elder hide in the shadows. Boom! Bang! Crash! Chaotic waves of divine power surged toward Zhao Feng and the azure-robed man. A second heaven god lord and the Crimson Elder! We'll probably die here! The azure-robed man's mind quickly turned. A few moments later, he made a decision. You cover the rear! I'll go back and get reinforcements. After saying this, the azure-robed man began to burn his divine power and circulate his wind law energy. An azure wind began to revolve around his body. Gradually, his entire body seemed to fuse into the azure wind. The azure-robed man transformed into a faint azure streak of light that shot off into the distance. Not even a second heaven god lord skilled in speed could catch up to him. There's nothing to be done. After getting some distance, the azure-robed elder sighed. Although he had failed to rope in Zhao Feng, he had framed Zhao Feng. If Zhao Feng were to face God Lord Vast Soul and the Crimson Elder alone, he would surely die. Since he couldn't help Swift Wind Gate, letting Vermilion Bird Pavilion kill him was not a bad idea. Die, brat! God Lord Vast Soul brought his palms together, and dark yellow earthen walls appeared on either side of Zhao Feng. Boom! The earthen walls suddenly began to press toward the center, exuding a powerful gravitational force that seemed intent on crushing Zhao Feng into pulp. Case Heaven Black Hole! Zhao Feng immediately unleashed a large amount of Chaos Origin divine power. The rings of light around him grew darker and darker until they were black, and they began to exude a powerful twisting and devouring power. Bang! The two dark yellow earthen walls crashed into each other. The heaven-shaking explosion caused massive waves to rise in the sea of fire. Suddenly, a suction force came from the center of the explosion. Boom! The power of the explosion and the fire elemental energy began to gather toward the center. It seems like I'll have to go all out. Zhao Feng's eyes were extremely gloomy. After this period of training, he could fight against a second heaven god lord even without using his god eye. As the dust settled, a pitch black hole appeared in the center of the explosion, exuding a chaotic and profound energy. God Lord Vassal's eyes froze. He originally believed that even if Zhao Feng didn't die from his attack, he would be heavily injured, but the result was far beyond his expectations. Chapter 1470. God Lord Vast Soul was taken aback. He originally believed that even if Zhao Feng didn't die from his attack, he would be heavily injured, but the result was far beyond his expectations. This brat was actually hiding his strength. The Crimson Elder's face chilled. At this moment, Zhao Feng was even stronger than when they first fought. Perhaps this was precisely why the Swift Wind Gate God Lord had sent Zhao Feng to the back. I have to use this chance to eliminate him. God Lord Vast Soul angrily snorted. The stronger Zhao Feng was, the greater the threat he posed to them. This was the best chance. They had to kill him before the people of Swift Wind Gate arrived. Seal the heavens and solidify the earth. God Lord Vast Soul spread open his arms, unleashing vast waves of divine power. In a flash, the entire region darkened as a heavy pressure filled the world. God Lord Vast Soul had an earth law, so he was not affected much by the burning heaven sea. In fact, he was even strengthened. The earth energy of the world became scorching hot as the flames roasted it. Moreover, this heavy earth domain was still shrinking, and its gravity was continuously increasing. Case Heaven Black Hole, devour! Zhao Feng activated the devouring power of the Chaos Heaven Black Hole. The pressure around him immediately weakened. As the Chaos Heaven Black Hole absorbed other energies, it was also strengthened. This kid's defensive combat skill can actually absorb other energies. Hurry and do it! God Lord Vast Soul was rather surprised and immediately called out. He extended his right hand and clenched his fist. Within the law domain, a dark and crude stone hand condensed in front of Zhao Feng. Boom! The stone hand hurtled toward Zhao Feng. Boom! Swish! The Crimson Elder immediately swung his saber, unleashing waves of flames that shook the world. Not good! These two are rather difficult to deal with when they work together. Zhao Feng's expression darkened. The attacks of God Lord Vast Soul and the Crimson Elder were rather powerful. The Chaos Heaven Black Hole wouldn't be able to last for long. Moreover, he was trapped in the second Heaven God Lord's law domain, so his speed was also limited. Unless Zhao Feng used his God Eye power or the ancestral artifact fragment, he would find it very difficult to escape. However, once these two appeared, they would incite the two people into a frenzy, and even the vermilion bird tower behind them would be affected. Boom! Bang! Zhao Feng released the mixed origin Thunder Tribulation sword and swung it around violently, trying his best to weaken the two's attacks. I can only use the power of the God Eye. Zhao Feng's eyes darkened. As long as he didn't make it too obvious, these people would find it very difficult to discover the ninth God Eye. However, at this moment, a relaxed and casual voice was transmitted to the battlefield of the three. Sir, do you need help? There's more? Zhao Feng was slightly surprised. Before this, he didn't even notice it. Of course, part of the reason was that he had sealed the Dream God Eye's power and was surrounded, so he hadn't noticed. It's you. God Lord Vassal glanced over and grimaced. Zhao Feng looked carefully. It was a translucent young man in white. His aura was weak, and he held a white fan in his hand. He stood in the air with his body askew, and there was a smile in his eyes. Tang Bai, I advise you not to interfere in this matter. God Lord Vassal angrily threatened. So what if I interfere in this matter? If he's willing to join my team, he'll be one of my members. Tang Bai glanced at him, and then he smiled at Zhao Feng. How about it? If you join my team, I'll help you drive away these two old fellows. Zhao Feng was taken aback. Although Tang Bai was using this chance to threaten him, there was nothing threatening in his tone or attitude. Compared to Vermilion Bird Pavilion and Swift Wind Gate, Tang Bai had given Zhao Feng a very good impression. In addition, this person wasn't very old, but he had a peak First Heaven cultivation, which was rather surprising. Moreover, Tang Bai didn't seem to fear a Second Heaven expert or the Vermilion Bird Pavilion behind God Lord Vassal and the Crimson Elder. This was proof that he wasn't simple at all. Tang Bai, don't think that we won't kill you. God Lord Vassal's face was red as he bellowed. Tang Bai was trying to rope in another God Lord in front of him. This was a naked provocation. But to his surprise, Zhao Feng didn't immediately agree. There's one more person. Zhao Feng was rather conflicted. Vermilion Bird Pavilion and Swift Wind Gate had both given him a bad impression, and he didn't want to join either of these factions or Tang Bai's team. If he got too close to outsiders, he would be more likely to expose his identity as the Ninth God Eye. However, if he took out the Ninth God Eye or the Ancestral Artifact Fragment, these two sides would definitely ally together. Although Tang Bai was only a peak First Heaven, his strength could not be underestimated. Zhao Feng even sensed that he was stronger than God Lord Vassal. If the three of them worked together, they would be even more troublesome to deal with. If you join my team, I won't restrict you in anything as long as you come with me and participate in a major battle. In addition, I can give you a powerful secret art that can conceal your God Lord aura and identity. Tang Bai was in no rush as he continued. Even now, Zhao Feng was using a special layer of protection to conceal his appearance. This allowed Tang Bai to know that Zhao Feng didn't want others to know his identity. Thus, he tossed out a benefit that Zhao Feng particularly needed. If it's just a major battle, I agree to your invitation. Zhao Feng thought for a few moments before saying. Compared to Swift Wind Gate and Vermilion Bird Pavilion, Tang Bai had given Zhao Feng a very good impression. Moreover, Tang Bai was apparently just a small team, and he had promised that he wouldn't restrict Zhao Feng. Wasn't Zhao Feng's goal in this trip to temper himself? Battles were essential. Tang Bai was a peak First Heaven, and if he participated in a battle, he wouldn't encounter any particularly dangerous situations. Moreover, Tang Bai could provide him with the secret art he needed. Deal! Tang Bai smiled as he flew over. No, you! God Lord Vassal panicked. He had just sent out a request for reinforcements, but it was probably too late. Whoosh! Whoosh! Tang Bai waved the white fan in his hand, unleashing waves of white light that seeped into the law domain around Zhao Feng. This law domain seemed to encounter its nemesis, and its power rapidly weakened. Kaboom! At the same time, Zhao Feng's Chaos Heaven black hole unleashed a twisting and devouring energy that destroyed the entire Earth Law domain. That was sealing energy just now. Zhao Feng looked at Tang Bai and was even more convinced of the secret technique he spoke of. This. After breaking free, Zhao Feng charged at Godlord Vast Soul and the Crimson Elder. These people wanted to kill him, so Zhao Feng naturally wouldn't show mercy. Don't blame me for injuring my teammates. Tang Feng faintly chuckled as he charged at Godlord Vast Soul. Die! Zhao Feng wildly swung the Chaos Origin Tribulation Lightning Sword, sending dark bolts of lightning shooting forward. Seal! Tang Feng extended his hand, unleashing a strange white halo that engulfed the area in front of him. In a flash, a portion of Godlord Vast Soul and the Crimson Elder's energy was sealed, causing them to slow down. Kill! Zhao Feng charged at the Crimson Elder, his Chaos Origin Tribulation Lightning Sword increasing in power. Godlord Vast Soul was a second heaven, and his Earth Law was skilled in defense, making him rather difficult to deal with. Thus, Zhao Feng decided to kill the Crimson Elder first. Save me, Godlord Vast Soul! The Crimson Elder immediately called for help from Godlord Vast Soul. Under Tang Bai's sealing energy, the Crimson Elder could only use around 70% of his strength. At this moment, a strange time law energy descended on the Crimson Elder's body. In his weakened state, the Crimson Elder's resistance to the time law was weaker. A time law! It seems like I found a pretty good one this time. Tang Bai rejoiced. He had never seen a First Heaven Godlord with a time law before. Of course, the legendary light race might have such existences. Swoosh! Swish! Several bolts of Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning energy slashed at the Crimson Elder's body. These attacks not only drained his energy, but they also made his wounds difficult to heal. Stop! Godlord Vast Soul gathered his divine power and unleashed a dark yellow dragon that roared forward. Just stay on the side and wait. Tang Bai waved the folding fan in his hand. Layers of white crystal light pierced through the yellow dragon and sealed its power. Bang! In the end, Tang Bai easily shattered it with a palm. On the other side, Zhao Feng stabbed his sword through the Crimson Elder's chest, the powerful Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning energy obliterating everything in his body. Whoosh! The Crimson Elder's body was ignited by the flames of the burning heaven sea and turned to ash. Boom boom boom! At this moment, a powerful ripple of energy came from the distance, and one could faintly make out the image of a warship. Time to go! Tang Bai said in a low voice as he brought Zhao Feng away. Not long after the two left, a domineering and imposing warship of scarlet gold flames descended. A red-robed woman charged out from the top of the warship. How was it, Godlord Vast Soul? Tang Bai and another Godlord worked together to kill the Crimson Elder. Godlord Vast Soul clenched his fists in rage. Damn, if this Tang Bai wasn't relying on his master, let's go back first. The red-robed woman's face darkened. On the other end, Zhao Feng had followed Mu Bai to another place in the burning heaven sea. Bzzz. A dark blue passage formed, and the pair entered it. The Divine Kingdom was a land of verdant mountains and clear waters, and in the distance was a vast sea that stretched as far as the eye could see. With a sweep of his divine sense, Zhao Feng discovered that there were quite a few people in this Divine Kingdom, including 2 Godlords and 8 half-step Godlords. Relax. This isn't our full strength. Mu Bai faintly smiled. Then, he gathered the members of the Divine Kingdom and gathered them in a large hall. New member, Godlord Zhao Wang. Mu Bai introduced everyone else. With Mu Bai's introduction, Zhao Feng got to know the rest of the people present. The majority of these people did not belong to any sect or sect. One of the 2 Godlords had even come from a zone next to the Tianhe zone. Since you've agreed to join us, it's time to tell you our goal. Tang Bai calmed down. Normally, a dangerous forbidden ground like the burning heaven sea wouldn't have so many people gathered here. All of this is because 1 month ago, a Godlord of Vermilion Bird Pavilion discovered the figure of an ancestral artifact fragment in the burning heaven sea. A black-armored man said. An ancestral artifact fragment. Zhao Feng couldn't help but be stunned. He hadn't expected for the burning heaven sea to contain such a treasure. Of course, the majority of Forbidden Grounds had many rare resources or dusty treasures in the outside world. This was also why people constantly went to these dangerous zones. According to the intelligence, it should be a fragment of the ancestral artifact Blazing Hell, Tang Bai added. Chapter 1471. Blazing Hell Fragment. Zhao Feng was shocked. He couldn't help but think of the final treasure of the Divine Nation auction, which was also a fragment of Blazing Hell. Back then, the Blazing Hell fragment had been auctioned for a sky-high price of 110 million. Who would have thought that this burning heaven sea actually hid a fragment of Blazing Hell? Although Zhao Feng had an ancestral artifact fragment, who would complain about having too many of such treasures? In terms of offensive power, the Blazing Hell fragment far surpassed the time-based ancestral artifact fragment in Zhao Feng's hands. What's the situation now? Zhao Feng's interest was piqued, and he took the initiative to ask. The ancestral artifact fragment was first discovered by Vermilion Bird Pavilion. As an enemy faction, Swift Wind Gate has spies among them, so Swift Wind Gate also knows about this. Currently, the two largest factions fighting over the Blazing Hell fragment are Vermilion Bird Pavilion and Swift Wind Gate, Tang Bai said with a smile. The ancestral artifact fragment had been discovered a month ago. In addition, the information was kept confidential, so the Holy Land of the Tianhe region did not know about it. Even if they knew, they would not come so quickly. In this 1 month, Vermilion Bird Pavilion and Swift Wind Gate did their utmost to rope in all the experts on their side. They even contacted a few god lords that lived in seclusion in the mountains and paid an enormous price to request their assistance. For example, God Lord Vast Soul was not a member of Vermilion Bird Pavilion, but a good friend of the Vermilion Bird Pavilion master. Originally, there were only these two factions fighting over the ancestral artifact fragment. But because their attitudes were too unyielding, their attitude towards outsiders was to either temporarily submit to them or kill them. Thus, I drew these people over to form a third faction. Tang Bai raised his face slightly, a little proud. Vermilion Bird Pavilion and Swift Wind Gate's attitudes were unyielding and their restraints were strong. Even if they managed to obtain an ancestral artifact fragment, these people wouldn't be able to obtain any benefits. On the other hand, Tang Bai's temporary team was more casual and unrestrained. It only required them to work together in the face of the enemy. In addition, if it was Tang Bai's team that obtained the ancestral artifact fragment, it would depend on their own abilities. These kinds of humane rules made it very easy for Tang Bai to rope in a lot of people. Of course, there was another indispensable reason, and that was Tang Bai's identity. You are from the God Sealing clan, right? Zhao Feng looked at Tang Bai and blurted out. If he was a nameless person, how could he allow other divine masters to follow him? Moreover, in the previous battle, although Tang Bai had not used his full strength and had only attacked casually, Zhao Feng could tell that his strength was not to be underestimated. That's right, I'm a member of the God Sealing clan. I was out adventuring and happened to come here. I didn't expect to encounter such a good thing. Tang Bai opened his folding fan and fanned it slightly. The God Sealing race was ranked 14th among the 10,000 ancient races. Even the stronger races would find their sealing methods a headache. As for Zhao Feng, if he temporarily joined Tang Bai's team, he would also be able to obtain a profound God Sealing clan's secret technique. No matter how one looked at it, this was a good deal. Everyone, I estimate that it won't be long before the ancestral artifact fragment appears. Even if it doesn't, Vermilion Bird Pavilion and Swift Wind Gate will force it out. So, be prepared. Tang Bai looked at everyone, his expression a little more serious. A month had passed since the ancestral artifact fragment had been discovered. Even if the ancestral artifact fragment didn't appear, the other two factions would still search for it so that even more experts wouldn't arrive. At that time, even Swift Wind Gate and Vermilion Bird Pavilion would find it very difficult to gain an advantage. Zhao Feng exchanged a few words with the other two god lords, becoming somewhat familiar with them. The black-armored man was a first heaven, an expert from outside the Tianhe zone. He did not bother with trifles. The violet-robed old woman was a peak first heaven and had a rather cold attitude toward Zhao Feng. "Zhao Wang, here's something for you." Tang Bai took out a crystal pearl and handed it to Zhao Feng. This crystal pearl was branded with the secret sealing art of the god sealing race. "Many thanks." Zhao Feng faintly smiled. In terms of pure sealing techniques, not even the second-ranked ancient shaman race was a match for the god sealing race. Zhao Feng found a random place in the divine kingdom and entered the space-time robe. Bzzz. As his mind poured into the crystal pearl, endless information flowed into Zhao Feng's mind. After 10 whole days, Zhao Feng finally digested all this information. This secret art was called the Heavenly Closure Sealing Art, a top-class divine-level art. After using it, one could completely conceal one's divine body and soul energy, and it could even seal treasures with particularly powerful ripples of energy. As expected of the god sealing race, their sealing arts are truly profound. Zhao Feng was pleasantly surprised. The Heavenly Closure Sealing Art could not only conceal his energy, but also sealed the dream god eye. In the following period of time, Zhao Feng stopped refining the ancient dream realm and focused on cultivating the Heavenly Closure Sealing Art. A year quickly passed within the space-time robe, but only around 3 days had passed in the outside world. Heavenly Closure Seal! Zhao Feng's hands began to form seals, and layers of white rings of light began to float out and revolve around his body. Gradually, these white rings of light began to shrink, seeping into Zhao Feng's divine body and soul. On the side, the black destruction dragon stared at Zhao Feng. It realized that Zhao Feng's energy was getting fainter and fainter. If it didn't stare at Zhao Feng, it would find it very difficult to notice that there was someone else here. Very good. I can already use it for the basics. Zhao Feng could now perfectly seal his energy. This was mainly used so that others would not be able to sense him. Once he attacked, his energy naturally could not be concealed. Zhao Feng continued to cultivate, and the sealing art he used got stronger and stronger. One day, Zhao Feng used the Heavenly Closure Sealing Art on his left eye. Buzz! Bzzz! Within the God Eye dimension, a white ring of light revolved around the dreamy silver ball and gradually shrank. The origin energy exuded by the dreamy silver ball was kept at bay by this white ring of light. At this moment, Zhao Feng sensed that the power of his left eye had somewhat declined. But he was extremely happy. After the God Eye awakened, sealing it became extremely difficult, but Tang Bai's God Sealing Race secret art was effective. In this way, the chances of others discovering his 9th God Eye were greatly reduced. One day, a scout hurried back to the Divine Kingdom. Lord Tang Bai, it's bad. God Lord Crazy Sword is being pursued by the experts of Vermilion Bird Pavilion. The half-step God Lord went to Tang Bai's residence and reported the news. Move out. Tang Bai immediately rushed out and called out, his voice echoing throughout the Divine Kingdom. God Lord Crazy Sword was a peak first heaven, an expert of the Sword Dao, and second only to him in Tang Bai's team. Even the second heaven God Lord Vast Soul was not enough to put God Lord Crazy Sword in danger. But now, God Lord Crazy Sword had sent a distress signal. Thus, Tang Bai immediately gathered everyone. This is related to our chances of getting the ancestral artifact fragment. If you are not willing to help, I will not force you. Tang Bai looked at Zhao Feng's group and coldly said. When he was trying to recruit Zhao Feng, he had said that he only needed Zhao Feng to fight a major battle with him. It was obvious that he had said the same thing when recruiting the others. But the major battle Tang Bai spoke of was for the ancestral artifact fragment, not now. God Lord Crazy Sword is a powerful God Lord that our team cannot do without. The black-armored man was brimming with fighting intent. This Vermilion Bird Pavilion thinks that we're easy to bully. We'll definitely make them taste some pain this time. The violet-robed old woman's face darkened as she began to exude a dangerous soul energy. Zhao Feng agreed. He would not refuse a battle that wasn't too dangerous. Whoosh! Whoosh! Tang Bai led his team out of the Divine Kingdom to reinforce God Lord Crazy Sword. All the members below the God Lord level were on a medium-sized warship. This special warship was extremely resistant to fire, and had many arrays on it. When half-step God Lords worked together, they could unleash the power of a God Lord. Boom! Bang! Crash! In the distance, heaven-shaking booms accompanied by waves of fire surged toward them. Zhao Feng's left eye pierced through the waves of fire and spotted a domineering man wielding a golden sword. There was no need to say that this was God Lord Crazy Sword. This God Lord Crazy Sword's body was surrounded by countless streams of sharp golden sword chi, and he transformed into a streak of sword light that pierced through the world. Behind him were 4 people, all God Lords of Vermilion Bird Pavilion. Other than God Lord Vast Soul, there was also a fiery-robed elder of the second heaven, while the other 2 were first heaven. If not for the fact that God Lord Crazy Sword was extremely fast and skilled in fleeing, he would have already died to the enemy. God Lord Crazy Sword! Tang Bai bellowed as he rapidly approached God Lord Crazy Sword. Zhao Feng and the others arrived. Only now did God Lord Crazy Sword stop. The God Lords of Vermilion Bird Pavilion also slowed down. What's going on? Why would Vermilion Bird Pavilion send out such a large force to deal with God Lord Crazy Sword? Tang Bai was rather surprised. The fiery-robed elder was none other than the Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master. Humph, Tang Bai, take your people and leave, or else I won't be polite today. The fiery-robed elder looked down on them, exuding a scorching pressure. Do you think we're afraid of you? Tang Bai's expression turned serious. Although they had no second heaven experts on their side, Tang Bai, God Lord Crazy Sword, and the violet-robed old woman were all peak first heaven. Tang Bai's strength was unfathomable, while God Lord Crazy Sword was extremely powerful. In addition, Tang Bai's side had one more God Lord than Vermilion Bird Pavilion. At this moment, Tang Bai's team of half-step God Lords arrived. Strike! The fiery-robed elder coldly called out. Tang Bai's team members were all stunned. The 2 sides were clearly of similar strength, and Tang Bai's side was even a little stronger. But Vermilion Bird Pavilion's people still immediately announced that they would strike. Was Vermilion Bird Pavilion not afraid that if they fought to the death with Tang Bai's team, Swift Wind Gate would take advantage of them? A moment later, Zhao Feng, Tang Bai, and the violet-robed old woman grimaced. Brum! Waves of fire surged in the distance as a powerful divine power energy pressed forward. In the blink of an eye, 5 figures appeared in the sky. The blue-robed elder at the front was surrounded by white winds, his aura terrifying to behold. Swift Wind Gate! Tang Bai blurted out in alarm. At this moment, he understood. It turned out that Vermilion Bird Pavilion and Swift Wind Gate had temporarily allied together, planning to first eliminate the threat that was him. Brother Zhao, I didn't think that you wouldn't die and would even join Tang Bai's team, but this was also a wrong choice. An azure-robed middle-aged man wickedly chuckled. This was the God Lord who had pretended to help Zhao Feng. His true goal was to have Zhao Feng join Swift Wind Gate. But later on, in the face of Vermilion Bird Pavilion's God Lord Vast Soul and the Crimson Elder, the azure-robed man immediately abandoned Zhao Feng and fled. Chapter 1472. Tang Bai hadn't expected that Swift Wind Gate and Vermilion Bird Pavilion, who were like water and fire, would work together to deal with his team. Damn! To think that it would be like this! God Lord Crazy Sword angrily gnashed his teeth. Only now did he remember that the people from Vermilion Bird Pavilion had not tried to kill him. As it turned out, they wanted to draw over all the members of Tang Bai's team and capture them all in one fell swoop. The situation isn't good. Zhao Feng slightly shook his head. The current situation was extremely disadvantageous to them. You brought this upon yourselves, the fierce-looking elder of Vermilion Bird Pavilion coldly said. If not for the appearance of Tang Bai's team, Swift Wind Gate and Vermilion Bird Pavilion might have already begun fighting over the ancestral artifact fragment. But the 2 factions were roughly equal in strength. If they fought too fiercely, Tang Bai's team would be the fishermen reaping the benefits. The news of the blazing hell fragment's appearance was about to spread. Before that happened, the two factions decided to temporarily work together to defeat Tang Bai's team, and then quickly attack for the ancestral artifact fragment. Attack! Kill everyone except Tang Bai! The Swift Wind Gate Master called out. Whoosh! The 4 god lords who had followed him here immediately charged out. The rest of you go as well! The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master ordered. God Lord Vast Soul led 2 god lords in attacking. These 2 second heaven god lords don't plan to personally attack? Zhao Feng glanced at the Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master and Swift Wind Gate Master. After some thought, he understood. Although these 2 factions had temporarily allied, they had a very deep grudge and did not completely trust each other. And a god lord battle was too chaotic. If one side launched a sneak attack, the other side would be in danger. In addition, not even a second heaven god lord would dare to be careless against a dying god lord. They still had to fight for the ancestral artifact fragment, so the leaders of the 2 factions did not recklessly attack. Moreover, even if they didn't attack, they still appeared to be able to crush Tang Bai's team. Swift Wind Gate had 4 god lords, 2 at First Heaven and 2 at Peak First Heaven. And Vermilion Bird Pavilion had 3 god lords. God Lord Vast Soul was a second heaven while the other was a Peak First Heaven red-robed woman. Tang Bai, let this old man play with you a little longer. God Lord Vast Soul heartily laughed as he rumbled toward Tang Bai, brimming with heavenly pressure. His mission was to restrain Tang Bai and let the others kill Tang Bai's team members. At that time, Tang Bai would be helpless and would no longer be a threat to the 2 major forces. Tang Bai's face was sullen, and a powerful bloodline aura surged out of his body. Buzz! His body gradually turned white and flickered with faint light, releasing a strange power that could seal all things. Boom! With a wave of the folding fan in his hand, countless crystalline white light waves shot out and hit various places in front of him. Instantly, the power of the place Tang Bai had struck weakened. Retreat! Tang Bai secretly transmitted a message to his team members. The other side still had 2 second heaven god lords who had yet to take action, so they still had a chance to survive. The other side. The 6 god lords charged at God Lord Crazy Sword, Zhao Feng, and the others, their attacks filling the sky. Kill! God Lord Crazy Sword was enraged, and the golden sword in his hand exuded a tyrannical sword intent that could pierce through the heavens. Shio shio shio! Countless golden blades of light howled through the air, cutting countless holes in the sea of flames. The other members of Tang Bai's team also began to attack. The black-armored man was a body-refining expert with astonishing strength, while the violet-robed old woman's techniques were more focused on the soul. Zhao Feng swung the Chaos Origin Divine Sword, easily shattering the incoming attacks. Although they were all furious, this was not the time to fight to the death. The other side had the advantage in numbers, and the 2 second heaven god lords had yet to take action. Everyone fought and retreated, and in the process more and more people were injured. Useless effort! The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master disdainfully snorted. The 2 factions working together only needed to use a portion of their strength to crush Tang Bai's team. He only needed to keep an eye on the Swift Wind Gate Master. He had an extremely deep understanding of the Swift Wind Gate Master. This person was full of schemes and had to be guarded against. The chaotic God Lord battlefield gradually moved away from the 2 second heaven God Lords. The enemy has 7 people, and the strongest is God Lord Vast Soul. The rest are nothing to worry about, but the 2 second heaven God Lords are still watching the battlefield. Zhao Feng's eyes dimmed as he analyzed the current situation. If he revealed his strength, he could reverse the situation. But once the situation changed, the 2 god lords might also take action. Forget it! Even a second heaven god lord can't do anything to me! Killing intent surged in Zhao Feng's eyes. If he didn't reveal his strength, Tang Bai's team would have no chance of victory. And there were far too many people participating in the struggle for the ancestral artifact fragment. There were even people from other factions and even sacred lands hurrying over. Zhao Feng had very little hope of obtaining the blazing hell fragment. It was better to kill a few more god lords. The spoils of war from god lords were also an enormous fortune. Moreover, once he drew away the leaders of the two five-star factions, Tang Bai's team would be able to escape, and Zhao Feng wouldn't owe them anything. Kill! The Chaos Origin Divine Sword in Zhao Feng's hand suddenly grew in size, surging with tribulation lightning energy. This! He shot forward at the azure-robed man from Swift Wind Gate. Zhao Feng only recognized two of the enemy god lords, the azure-robed man from Swift Wind Gate and God Lord Vast Soul of Vermilion Bird Pavilion. Xiao Wang, don't! The black-armored man immediately called out. Other than God Lord Vast Soul, the enemy side had 6 god lords. For Zhao Feng to charge forward was simply seeking death. You want to kill me that much? The azure-robed man wickedly smiled, his saber of azure light unleashing countless azure saber images. Seeking death! The red-robed woman and the other members immediately focused their firepower on Zhao Feng. This! Zhao Feng activated his time law and space intent, and then his body flickered away. At the same time, the chaos heaven void ring around him darkened, forming a pitch-black hole that began to distort and devour energy. Boom! Bang! Crash! Zhao Feng moved with incredible speed, dodging the majority of the attacks while blocking the rest of the attacks by the Chaos Heaven black hole. So powerful! The black-armored man's eyes widened in shock. At this moment, Zhao Feng displayed speed that not even God Lord Crazy Sword could compare to. Moreover, Zhao Feng's defensive secret art was extremely powerful. Go! God Lord Crazy Sword's eyes flashed with sharpness as he swung his sword, unleashing a rain of golden swords. The others saw that Zhao Feng had drawn away some of the firepower and immediately charged forward. Damn! It's that brat again! God Lord Vast Soul looked at Zhao Feng and cursed. After fighting with Zhao Feng, he knew that Zhao Feng possessed extraordinary strength. But in normal circumstances, his side would not lose. Although he was no match for Tang Bai, his mission was to hold down Tang Bai. Die! Zhao Feng gripped his sword with both hands and slashed. The azure-robed man grimaced as he saw this enormous sword about to descend. He prepared to dodge, but he realized that his thoughts and movements had become extremely slow. The azure-robed man could not dodge this attack. Brat, you're too arrogant! But the azure-robed man's side had many god lords, and they immediately took action to block this attack for him. At the same time, God Lord Crazy Sword's group arrived. The red-robed woman and the other god lords immediately began to deal with the others. Die! Zhao Feng's left eye focused on the azure-robed man. This! With a ripple of eye intent, a miniature Cape's Origin Divine Sword exploded forward. The azure-robed man, who believed that he had escaped danger, suddenly sensed death. Oh no! The azure-robed man hurriedly used a defensive soul art. A dark azure bell suddenly appeared around him. Boom! Bang! The Chaos Divine Sword pierced through the dark green bell. No, impossible! The azure-robed man's eyes bulged as his entire body trembled. This! The Chaos Origin Divine Sword pierced through the bell and stabbed into his soul, unleashing a powerful surge of Chaos Origin energy. In the next moment, his soul collapsed and dissipated in the world. Dead? The red-robed woman was flabbergasted. In the blink of an eye, Zhao Feng had killed the first heaven god lord. How had he done this? Good! The black-armored man was elated. With Zhao Feng killing one person, the pressure on them had been greatly reduced. Kill! After killing one person, Zhao Feng did not stop to rest and attacked another god lord. He was most skilled in eye bloodline techniques. He had never displayed this skill before, so he was caught off guard. With Zhao Feng's peak first heaven soul intent, the defensive secret art of the azure-robed man was useless. He could only be insta-killed. Bzzz. The energy of a time law engulfed a first heaven god lord of Vermilion Bird Pavilion. Oh no! This God Lord sensed that something was wrong and called for help. But at this time, only one God Lord could come to his aid. Zhao Feng moved with incredible speed. He went around this God Lord and unleashed several Chaos Origin sword bolts, throwing his opponent into confusion. No! The Vermilion Bird Pavilion God Lord sensed an intense danger and began to burn his divine power. At the same time, the image of an enormous divine kingdom appeared around him. But no matter what he did, Zhao Feng continued to charge forward, madly swinging his Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning sword. Boom! Bang! The divine kingdom image shattered, and several pitch-black wounds were left on the Vermilion Bird Pavilion God Lord's body. But Zhao Feng's attacks did not stop. Chaos Origin sword bolts flooded the world, mixed in with the Tribulation lightning eye flame. Boom! Bang! This Vermilion Bird Pavilion God Lord was instantly killed by Zhao Feng's torrent of attacks. He had killed another God Lord. On the other side, God Lord Vast Soul was stunned, and then he called out in alarm. How could this be? This kid is much stronger than before. He has a time law. Ordinary First Heaven God Lords are powerless against him. The red-robed woman felt powerless. Good! Brother Zhao, I truly didn't misjudge you. Tang Bai was overjoyed. God Lord Crazy Sword, the violet-robed old woman, and the others in Tang Bai's team were also overjoyed. They had previously taken Zhao Feng to be an ordinary God Lord, but in this battle, Zhao Feng's performance had left their eyes wide open. Even the second-ranked expert of their team, God Lord Crazy Sword, was far inferior to Zhao Feng. In the distance, the leaders of Vermilion Bird Pavilion and Swift Wind Gate grimaced. Zhao Feng had already killed one God Lord each from Swift Wind Gate and Vermilion Bird Pavilion. This person is actually this strong. Chapter 1473. Along the way, the Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master had been on guard against the Swift Wind Gate Master. He had not expected that the Swift Wind Gate Master would have another scheme, and he still fell for it. The plan is not going well. Swift Wind Gate Master glared at Zhao Feng with resentment. If it weren't for Zhao Feng being too strong and reversing the situation of Tang Bai's team would have been finished off by them long ago. At that time, as long as the Swift Wind Gate Master could block the Vermilion Bird Pavilion's group, he would be able to obtain the ancestral artifact fragment. Such a perfect plan was ruined by Zhao Feng alone. Now, not a single one of Tang Bai's team had died, and it was impossible for Swift Wind Gate to stop these two forces. This old man will definitely settle this score with you. The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master snorted angrily, and immediately rushed towards the center of the burning heaven sea. Although he was extremely furious at this moment, and wished to immediately attack Swift Wind Gate, he did not dare to do so. But the ancestral artifact fragment was even more important. Once he obtained Blazing Hell's fragment, his strength would explode to a whole new level. At that time, even the Swift Wind Gate Master would be no match for him. Xiao! The Swift Wind Gate Master circulated the Law of Wind, transforming into a gust of white light that instantly surpassed the Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master. At the same time, he had the time to interfere with the Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master. Xiao, Xiao, Xiao! The Swift Wind Gate Master waved his hand, and countless white wind blades blew out, slicing the entire sea of flames into countless pieces. In the distance. What happened? Tang Bai was taken aback. He had thought that the two leaders who were watching the battle would attack them. In the end, for some unknown reason, the two people in power started fighting one another. Looks like we've escaped death. God Lord Crazy Sword smiled. The conflict between the two five-star forces suddenly erupted, and it was impossible for them to continue working together to deal with Tang Bai's team. Damn it, scum of Swift Wind Gate! God Lord Vast Soul angrily cursed. Just now, the members of the Vermilion Bird Pavilion received a voice transmission from the Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master and understood Swift Wind Gate's scheme. Retreat! The red-clothed woman immediately shouted. Immediately, the members of the Vermilion Bird Pavilion all retreated. Let's go too! The remaining 3 god lords of Swift Wind Pavilion immediately left. In the blink of an eye, all of the enemies had retreated. Let's go and take a look, Tangbai said in a low voice. What was the reason for the conflict between the 2 5-star forces to suddenly erupt? The answer was obvious: an ancestral artifact fragment. Yes, we can't let these guys have it easy. A cold light flashed through Godlord Crazy Sword's eyes. Even if he could not obtain the ancestral artifact fragment, he would still do his utmost to disturb these 2 5-star factions. If he could kill a god lord, he would have already profited. In the center of the burning heaven sea. Boom! Bang! Explosions rang out around the ancestral artifact fragment. The 2 5-star forces had joined forces to deal with Tang Bai's team. However, they also left some people to guard the center of the burning heaven sea. However, the difference in strength of the people left behind was huge. Boom! 2 god lords of Vermilion Bird Pavilion were sent flying, vomiting blood as they flew. The moment the blood spurted out, it was burned and evaporated by the burning sky sea. Damn! It's actually God Lord Blood Rain. A god lord of Vermilion Bird Pavilion had a look of resentment on his face. God Lord Blood Rain was a famous god lord of the Tianhe zone, but it was rumored that he was in seclusion and had not appeared for 10,000 years. Haha, this old man will send you on your way. An elder covered in blood-colored lights smiled wickedly. He had only come to help Swift Wind Gate a few days ago. Of course, only the Swift Wind Gate Master knew of God Lord Bloodrain's arrival. No one else knew. This was precisely why Vermilion Bird Pavilion had underestimated Swift Wind Gate's strength. Die! God Lord Bloodrain thrust out a palm, sending a fierce streak of bloody light flying into the distance. Boom! Bang! The 2 god lords of Vermilion Bird Pavilion working together found it difficult to stop God Lord Bloodrain's attack, and their injuries worsened. On the other side, the image of a blazing golden-red firebird flew through the air. Within the body of the firebird was a dazzling red-gold feather. This feather was a small part of the blazing hell ancestral artifact. Ancestral artifact fragment, submit to Swift Wind Gate. A first heaven god lord of Swift Wind Gate pursued. At this moment, he was suppressing the ancestral artifact fragment and attempting to take it for his own. However, the ancestral artifact fragment was much stronger in an environment like the burning heaven sea, and the power it occasionally unleashed made him not dare to be careless. What a joke! A few lowly god lords want me to submit. The roar of an old man came from within the feather. There's no time. The first heaven god lord was rather anxious. However, he alone could not subdue the ancestral artifact fragment. At this moment, a deep and resounding voice resounded. Let me! A gale of white light rapidly approached the ancestral artifact fragment, exuding a gale energy that could engulf all things. This person was none other than the Swift Wind Gate Master. But before he could even attack, a dreadful ripple of divine power appeared behind him. The ancestral artifact fragment is mine. The flame wings on the Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master's back rapidly flapped, unleashing a wave of fire at the Swift Wind Gate Master. Behind him, the other members of the 2 factions began to arrive. What's going on? God Lord Bloodrain looked at the Swift Wind Gate Master in surprise and anger. Their plan was foolproof. As long as the Swift Wind Gate Master could hold down Vermilion Bird Pavilion for a few more moments, victory was assured. Nearby, Tang Bai's team slowly approached. The ancestral artifact fragment has appeared. The black-armored man's face trembled in excitement. That's right, but we just went through a major battle, and all of us have significant injuries. Let's wait and see. Tang Bai called out. Swift Wind Gate and Vermilion Bird Pavilion each had 2 powerful god lords. Moreover, Vermilion Bird Pavilion had already been schemed against by Swift Wind Gate, and the 2 factions already had a deep grudge against each other. The chances of them working together were extremely low. Thus, they only needed to wait until the 2 factions were about done fighting. That way, their chances of success would be the highest. In the distance, Vermilion Bird Pavilion and Swift Wind Gate were engaged in a fierce battle. This was the final juncture in the struggle for the ancestral artifact fragment, and both sides were holding nothing back, even using some of their trump cards. Die. The wings on the Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master's back blotted out the sky as he unleashed powerful fire energy. Kaboom! A tornado of fire swept through the world, covering an enormous area. If an ordinary First Heaven God Lord was injured by it, they would lose a layer of skin. Don't get excited. Let's stop for now and deal with Tang Bai's team first before fighting over the ancestral artifact fragment. Otherwise, if we fight to the death, they'll just sit back and reap the benefits. The Swift Windgate Master calmly said. Vermilion Bird Pavilion won't trust you a second time. The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master seethed with rage. The Swift Windgate Master had an extremely nasty grimace, occasionally glancing at Tang Bai's team. Continuing to fight is very disadvantageous to us. The Swift Windgate Master's eyes were extremely gloomy. At this moment, his expression flickered as he turned to Godlord Bloodrain. Boom! Godlord Bloodrain suddenly exploded with supreme power, a bloody light illuminating the entire sea of fire. Boom! Bang! His opponent, Godlord Vast Soul, had his defenses shattered, and his body flew backward, vomiting blood. As it turned out, Godlord Vast Soul's strength had been sealed in his battle with Tang Bai, and even now, he had not completely undone it. Moreover, Godlord Bloodrain was already extremely strong, so Godlord Vast Soul was on the back foot. After pushing back Godlord Vast Soul, Godlord Bloodrain transformed into a dark red streak of light and arrived near the ancestral artifact fragment. Boom! A massive ball of bloody divine power surrounded the ancestral artifact fragment. The ancestral artifact fragment struggled with all its might, but it was still slowly wrapped up in that bloody light. The ancestral artifact fragment was temporarily under Godlord Bloodrain's control. Let's go! Godlord Bloodrain called out. Okay. The Swift Windgate Master was elated. It seemed like Swift Windgate would have to thank the God-sealing race's Tang Bai for obtaining the ancestral artifact fragment. Swish, swish, swish. All the members of Swift Windgate retreated, activating their secret speed arts in preparation to flee. Now that they had obtained the ancestral artifact fragment, there was no need to continue fighting. The members of Swift Windgate specialized in speed, so if they sincerely wanted to flee, the members of Vermilion Bird Pavilion would never be able to catch up. As long as they could throw off Vermilion Bird Pavilion, the ancestral artifact fragment would be Swift Windgate's. Not good! We can't let them escape! The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master flapped his wings of flame as he pursued. The other members of Vermilion Bird Pavilion also madly pursued, unleashing attacks that blotted out the heavens. In the rear, Tang Bai and the others were taken aback. Not good! I didn't think that Swift Windgate would obtain the ancestral artifact fragment so quickly. Tang Bai's gaze darkened. He had imagined that the two factions would fight until they were about to reach a stalemate, and then Swift Windgate would suddenly strike and seize the ancestral artifact fragment. Things did not turn out as they had hoped, and the fishermen reaping the benefits did not occur. Moreover, Swift Windgate specialized in speed. If Vermilion Bird Pavilion could not catch up, it would also find it very difficult to do so. At this moment, with a ripple of space-time energy, Zhao Feng shot forward. I can catch up. As long as I can delay Swift Windgate for a few moments, and wait for Vermilion Bird Pavilion to catch up. Zhao Feng inwardly chuckled. As long as Swift Windgate was disturbed and Vermilion Bird Pavilion caught up, the two factions would once more engage in a battle to the death. At this moment, Zhao Feng was not only using space-time energy, he was also using the Metal Lightning Radiance wings to push his speed to the limit. A ripple of energy swept past the Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master. It's that brat! The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master was alarmed. Up ahead, the Swift Windgate Master sensed something. Oh no! His face was both shocked and enraged. Is this brat the main culprit behind our plan's failure? Godlord Bloodrain stared at Zhao Feng, his eyes brimming with killing intent. For a first heaven god lord to be able to explode with speed far exceeding that of a second heaven god lord was truly astonishing. Kaif's origin tribulation lightning slash. Zhao Feng condensed the Kaif's origin divine sword and swung it. Boom! A massive bolt of Kaif's origin tribulation lightning energy howled forward. Not even the swift wind gate master dared to be careless against it. The other members hurriedly moved to dodge. The scene of Zhao Feng killing two first heaven god lords was still fresh in their minds. Boom! As the Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning slash descended, it did not affect many people, but it exuded a strange white light that caused the world to twist and slow down. Not good. It's a time law. The swift wind gate master grimaced, wanting nothing more than to tear Zhao Feng to pieces. At this moment, the members of Swift Wind Gate were affected by the time law and restrained for a few moments. In the rear, the members of Vermilion Bird Pavilion quickly caught up. The Vermilion Bird Pavilion master knew that Zhao Feng was intentionally obstructing Swift Wind Gate so that the two sides would fight to the death again. But knowing that this was Zhao Feng's scheme, Vermilion Bird Pavilion could not possibly let Swift Wind Gate go. Chapter 1474. Zhao Feng suddenly attacked, delaying Swift Wind Gate for a few moments so that Vermilion Bird Pavilion could catch up. Although Vermilion Bird Pavilion knew that this was Zhao Feng's plan, they could not let Swift Wind Gate go. In the distance, the other members of Tang Bai's team were stunned by Zhao Feng's astonishing actions. Wonderful! This way, the two factions will have no choice but to continue fighting to the death. Tang Bai clapped his hands and smiled. Boom! Bang! Crash! The two factions once more began to battle. Several god lords clashed, various laws and powerful divine power weaving through the world, causing the entire burning heaven sea to seethe. At this moment, a red-robed woman charged out from Vermilion Bird Pavilion's side at Zhao Feng. Don't even think about leaving! The red-robed woman's alluring voice rang out. On the other side, a peak first heaven god lord of Swift Wind Gate also charged out. Zhao Feng's actions just now had both disturbed Swift Wind Gate and schemed against Vermilion Bird Pavilion. These two factions naturally would not allow Zhao Feng to leave like this. Moreover, killing Zhao Feng would deal a heavy blow to Tang Bai's team. The red-robed woman wielded a fire snake whip, and as she swung it, the sky was filled with fire snakes that shot toward Zhao Feng. The white-bearded elder of Swift Wind Gate roamed the area to prevent Zhao Feng from escaping. Then I'll play with you! Zhao Feng was in no rush to retreat. But he could deal with two peak first heaven god lords without using his god-eye power. Not good! Brother Zhao has been entangled by them. The black-armored man grimaced. Don't panic! Zhao Wang seems to be intentionally staying there. Tang Bai immediately said. If they recklessly charged out, he could not predict what would happen. Kaif's heaven black hole! Zhao Feng unleashed a vast amount of Chaos Origin divine power to form a ring of light. This ring of light grew darker and darker until it was black. It was like a black hole that could distort and devour all things. Boom! Bang! Crash! The countless fire snake whips struck the Chaos Heaven black hole, only stirring up waves of fire. I'll kill you first! After condensing the Chaos Origin Lightning Tribulation Sword, Zhao Feng rushed toward the red-robed woman. What a powerful defense! AoE attacks have no effect on it. The woman in red lashed out with the long whip in her hand. Countless fire serpents appeared on the whip and coiled around it. Fire snake bind! That long whip was extremely nimble. It swam between heaven and earth, circling around Zhao Feng's surroundings before instantly contracting. The woman's whip was a supreme-grade divine artifact. Even Zhao Feng's Chaos Origin Tribulation Lightning Sword couldn't break it. At the same time, a sharp wave of divine power came from behind Zhao Feng. Aurora Wind Cut! The white-bearded old man shouted and threw the spiral light beheader in his hand. It turned out that the two god lords had reached a consensus just now. The red-clothed woman was responsible for restraining Zhao Feng, while the white-bearded old man condensed a powerful single-target trump card to deal a fatal blow to Zhao Feng. They had been enemies for many years, so they understood each other quite well. Swish, swish, swish! The illusory white blade of light stirred up gales of wind as it slashed at Zhao Feng. At this moment, the sea of fire was stirred up into a tornado that gathered around the spiral light beheader. Boom! Bang! Crash! The attack descended upon the Chaos Heaven black hole, causing an explosion of energy to sweep through the world. Humph, your defensive secret skill can't stop my Aurora Wind Cut! The white-bearded old man was extremely confident and couldn't help but sneer. Possessing the law of wind, his divine power attacks were incomparably sharp. His cutting ability was extremely strong, and his ability to break through defenses was top-notch. Moreover, he was extremely confident in his trump card. Back then, his Aurora Wind Cut had been able to break through the defenses of a Second Heaven Godlord. Second Heaven? Zhao Feng couldn't help but sneer. Even the ordinary attacks of a Second Heaven Godlord would find it difficult to break through his defenses. But this time, the red-clothed woman's fire snake bind was keeping the Chaos Heaven black hole's defenses at bay. Kaboom! The power of the Aurora Wind Cut gradually weakened. A crack appeared on the Chaos Heaven black hole, but it quickly healed. This? The white-bearded elder was at a loss for words, his face slightly red. He had been boasting just now, but in the end, all he managed to do was open a small crack. Just a turtle hiding in its shell. Just keep hiding in there. The red-clothed woman's eyes dimmed, and then she gave a sweet smile and jeered. Any man would be infuriated to be called a turtle by such a seductive woman. Is that so? I'll let you experience the upgraded Chaos Heaven black hole. Zhao Feng took in a deep breath, and boundless tribulation lightning energy surged out of his lightning soul body. Swish! The Chaos Heaven black hole suddenly began to crackle with lightning. A few moments later, countless arcs of lightning covered the Chaos Heaven black hole. At this moment, the Chaos Heaven black hole seemed to have become a black vortex of lightning. Long ago, Zhao Feng had fused tribulation lightning energy into his Chaos Origin Divine Sword. In theory, fusing the Chaos Heaven black hole was also possible. However, the Chaos Heaven black hole was of a higher level, making it more difficult to fuse. But not long ago, Zhao Feng completed the fusion. After fusing with the tribulation lightning energy, the Chaos Heaven black hole's defense didn't improve, but its destructive power had greatly increased. Swish! 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 The spiral light slash instantly arrived around the Chaos Heaven lightning vortex. At this moment, the twisting power spread out from the Chaos Heaven lightning vortex along with the tribulation lightning energy. Swish! The power of the spiral light slash was greatly weakened, and its light dimmed a little. Bang! In the end, the spiral light slash landed on the Chaos Heaven lightning vortex, but it didn't leave a single mark. At the same time, the fire snake whip around Zhao Feng was also affected by the twisting power and the power of the lightning, and its power gradually weakened. The red-clothed woman even felt that her supreme-grade divine artifact couldn't withstand the power and might be damaged. Seeing this, the red-clothed woman hurriedly put away her whip. Kill! Inside the Chaos Heaven lightning vortex, Zhao Feng wielded the Chaos Origin Lightning Tribulation Sword and approached the red-clothed woman at lightning speed. Fire Snake Chaotic Sea! The red-clothed woman brandished her whip, striking out countless fire snake phantoms that charged at Zhao Feng. As for herself, she hastily pulled away from Zhao Feng. You can't escape! Zhao Feng wasn't afraid in the slightest as he charged forward with the Chaos Heaven lightning vortex. The pitch-black lightning vortex crashed into the fire snakes, destroying all the fire snakes that approached. A portion of their energy was absorbed by the Chaos Heaven lightning vortex. However, Zhao Feng's speed wasn't affected at all as he gradually approached the red-clothed woman. How is this possible? Help! The red-clothed woman's beautiful face paled as she cried for help. She had never seen a defensive secret technique with such great destructive power. Seeing Zhao Feng approaching, the red-clothed woman's heart thumped rapidly. Cold sweat broke out on her back, drenching her red clothes. Just who is this person? He's actually so difficult to deal with. The white-bearded old man followed closely behind Zhao Feng, continuously slashing out wind blades. However, these attacks couldn't affect Zhao Feng's Chaos Heaven Lightning Vortex. Rumble! As Zhao Feng approached the red-clothed woman, he slashed out with the Chaos Origin Lightning Sword. Pfft! A bloody wound appeared on the red-clothed woman's left shoulder from Zhao Feng's attack. The wound was charred black and crackled with lightning. At the same time, Zhao Feng fiercely crashed into the red-clothed woman within the Chaos Heaven Lightning Vortex. At this moment, the Chaos Heaven Black Hole's distortion, devouring, and lightning energy all acted on the red-clothed woman. Boom! The red-clothed woman screamed miserably, her body charred black as she flew back. As for Zhao Feng, he stuck close to the red-clothed woman. The Chaos Heaven Lightning Vortex around him stuck to the red-clothed woman. The powerful distortion and lightning energy tore the red-clothed woman to pieces. No, this monster! The white-bearded old man, who had been attacking Zhao Feng from behind, suddenly stopped, his legs trembling. He had never seen such a powerful person. Speed, defense, offense, and every other aspect were perfect. Swish! After killing the red-clothed woman and collecting the spoils, Zhao Feng immediately went after the white-bearded elder. In the distance, Tang Bai's team was frozen, their faces slack. When Zhao Feng was in danger just now, they had almost charged out to help Zhao Feng. In the end, Zhao Feng ignored the attacks of two peak First Heaven God Lords and even killed one of them. But this was not the end. After killing one, Zhao Feng went to kill another. Monster, monster! Without even thinking, the white-bearded elder used a secret escape art, transforming into a gust of wind that fled through the sea of flames. Behind him, the pitch-black lightning vortex was in hot pursuit, slowly getting closer and closer. In the chaotic battle, Swift Wind Gate and Vermilion Bird Pavilion were also alarmed by this sight. How could this be? How did this person do it? The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master was flabbergasted. In the face of two peak First Heaven God Lords, Zhao Feng was able to swiftly kill one of them and then pursue the other. It seemed like Zhao Feng was about to catch up to the injured white-bearded elder. At this moment, the Swift Wind Gate Master could no longer suppress his rage. Earlier, Zhao Feng had killed a Swift Wind Gate God Lord and then stopped them. Now, he was going to kill more of their people. Humph, don't even think about escaping! The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master immediately moved to stop the Swift Wind Gate Master. In the environment of the Burning Heaven Sea, he was slightly stronger than the Swift Wind Gate Master. At this moment, the white-bearded old man screamed miserably. The white-bearded elder was pressed down by the Chaos Heaven Lightning Vortex, and a Chaos Origin Lightning Sword was thrust into his chest. A few moments later, the white-bearded elder's soul was extinguished by the combined attacks of the Chaos Heaven Lightning Vortex and the Soul Sky Lightning Sword. After putting away the spoils of war, Zhao Feng retreated to the side and prepared to continue watching the battle. After killing so many God Lords, he had also gained a bountiful harvest. Even if he did not get the ancestral artifact fragment, his participation in this mission had not been in vain. But at this moment, Zhao Feng sensed several powerful auras descending. Moreover, there were several auras that Zhao Feng was familiar with. It's them! Zhao Feng grimaced. Boom boom boom. 3 silhouettes dashed over in an incomparably domineering manner and landed in front of everyone. They are. The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master stared at the 3, his expression extremely grim. These 3 were all Second Heaven God Lords and gave off an unfathomable aura, but he didn't recognize any of them. The leader of the 3 was covered in pitch-black dragon scales and exuded an extremely dangerous aura. The other was a black-robed elder with pitch-black eyes that resembled dead pools. The last was a cold and aloof woman covered in golden-red feather tattoos. God Lord Tyrant Dragon! God Lord Heavenly Solitude! Zhao Feng was startled. These 2 were powerful God Lords that had been pursuing him. He hadn't expected them to be together and to come here. Could it be that they had found his tracks and chased after him? But they're completely ignoring me as if they don't even see me. Zhao Feng's heart sank. These two gave Zhao Feng the feeling that they hadn't noticed him at all. If Zhao Feng were to suddenly run away now, he would only arouse their suspicions. Haha, I didn't think that there would be a blazing hell fragment here. We'll take it without politeness. God Lord Tyrant Dragon's eyes gleamed with a savage light as he stared at the blazing hell fragment in God Lord Bloodrain's hand, his eyes brimming with greed. Good sir is a little too confident. The Swift Wind Gate Master was rather displeased. Trash like you are nothing in front of me. God Lord Heavenly Solitude's hoarse voice rang out, and a deathly energy began to spread out, making one shiver in fear. Perhaps I can use Swift Wind Gate and Vermilion Bird Pavilion to get rid of them. Zhao Feng's mind was rapidly turning. The appearance of the ancestral artifact fragment had attracted many god lords. If things went smoothly, Zhao Feng could even use others to help him get rid of these foes. Chapter 1475. Perhaps I can use Swift Wind Gate and Vermilion Bird Pavilion to get rid of them. Zhao Feng's mind was rapidly turning. Both God Lord Tyrant Dragon and God Lord Heavenly Solitude were incredibly powerful. Zhao Feng would find it rather difficult to kill them alone. But now, the appearance of the ancestral artifact fragment had gathered many god lords. If he could successfully use these people, he could even have them help him get rid of these two enemies. Obediently hand over the blazing hell fragment, or else all of you will be buried here. God Lord Tyrant Dragon's vicious gaze swept over the area, exuding a tyrannical and dreadful energy. Under God Lord Tyrant Dragon's gaze, several First Heaven God Lords began to feel fear. Humph, what bold words! The Swift Wind Gate Master's body trembled in rage. He had been infuriated for so many times during his operation to obtain the ancestral artifact fragment. And now, 3 Second Heaven God Lords had suddenly arrived, arrogant and domineering, demanding that he obediently hand over the ancestral artifact fragment. The God Lords of Vermilion Bird Pavilion also found God Lord Tyrant Dragon's group extremely displeasing to the eye. They had seen arrogant and domineering people before, but they had never seen anyone this arrogant. 3 trifling people dared to declare that they would all be buried here? In the distance, Tang Bai's eyes darkened, his expression shifting. These people aren't simple. Of course, it wasn't just Tang Bai who realized this. The other Second Heaven God Lords also felt the same way. But the words of God Lord Tyrant Dragon's group had left them extremely displeased, so they took an extremely unyielding stance. Suddenly, Zhao Feng spoke. Swift Wind Gate Master, your Swift Wind Gate cannot keep the ancestral artifact fragment. It's best if you hand it over to avoid heavy casualties. Zhao Feng was currently concealing his appearance and aura, so no one else could see his true appearance. What? You! The Swift Wind Gate Master was seething with rage, and he clenched his teeth, wanting nothing more than to tear Zhao Feng to pieces. If not for Zhao Feng, Swift Wind Gate would have already succeeded in obtaining the ancestral artifact fragment. At a time like this, Zhao Feng was still mocking Swift Wind Gate, demanding that they hand over the ancestral artifact fragment. If Swift Wind Gate did as Zhao Feng said, all of them would feel humiliated and no longer have the face to see anyone. Zhao Feng chuckled when he saw the expressions of Swift Wind Gate's God Lord and God Lord Bloodrain. His first words were to provoke Wind Gate so that they would not easily give in. Vermilion Bird Pavilion, you really are useless. I helped you block Swift Wind Gate just now, but you still didn't succeed. You didn't even touch the ancestral artifact fragment. Just hurry up and leave. Don't embarrass yourselves here. After speaking about Swift Wind Gate, Zhao Feng turned his spear to Vermilion Bird Pavilion. God! You brat, courting death. The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master's face went red with anger and flames of anger surged behind him, as if he could attack Zhao Feng at any moment. Spirit Master. Chinso Wind Master of the Spirit Pavilion Master, the of the Vermilion the Dragon Lord, the Red Dragon Pavilion Master. You also. Chin Feng the Feng of God. Of Chin. Didn't you also not touch the ancestral artifact fragment? God Lord Vast Soul rolled his eyes at Xiao Feng and jeered. But my harvest on this trip is already very plentiful, Xiao Feng carelessly said. In this struggle for the ancestral artifact fragment, Xiao Feng had already killed 4 god lords, and the spoils he had obtained were truly plentiful. You really do talk a lot of nonsense. If you don't hand over the ancestral artifact fragment, don't blame this god for starting a massacre. God Lord Tyrant Dragon's vicious eyes immediately turned to the Swift Wind Gate group. The ancestral artifact fragment was still in God Lord Bloodrain's hands. Hand it over? Don't even think about it. The Swift Wind Gate Master bellowed, his anger still burning. If he handed over the ancestral artifact fragment, he would have no face left. It's still not certain who will be the final victor. The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master sneered. He had to obtain the ancestral artifact fragment no matter what. Seeking death. God Lord Tyrant Dragon's eyes focused as he charged forward, brimming with black and red draconic flames. At this moment, the bloodline energy of the Calamity Taboo swept through the world, battering at the bloodlines of all the god lords. Destruction Dragon Race. Swift Wind Gate and Vermilion Bird Pavilion cried out in alarm. Buzz! BZZZ! The ancestral artifact fragment under God Lord Bloodrain's control trembled as it battered against the wall of bloody light. Attack together! The Swift Wind Gate Master hurriedly called out. The moment God Lord Tyrant Dragon charged forward, he knew that he was no match for his foe. But Swift Wind Gate had many members. Whoosh! Whoosh! All the god lords of Swift Wind Gate charged forward. The strongest of them, God Lord Bloodrain, and the Swift Wind Gate Master led the charge. God Lord Bloodrain pushed out a hand, unleashing a wave of bloody energy that surged forward. The Swift Wind Gate Master waved his green jade sword, unleashing a dense rain of green swords. In the rear, the other members of Swift Wind Gate unleashed powerful attacks. Rumble! Torrential divine power surged toward God Lord Tyrant Dragon like a primordial beast. Destruction Dragon Breath. God Lord Tyrant Dragon activated his Destruction Dragon Race bloodline and origin energy as he spat out a forbidden black flame from his mouth. Boom! Bang! The black flame transformed into a black sun that exuded a dreadful energy that could destroy all things. The clash of these two powerful energies stirred up a massive storm that swept through the world. How could this be? On the side, the Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master revealed a horrified expression. God Lord Tyrant Dragon had managed to block the attack of all the experts of Swift Wind Gate by himself. This sort of strength was far too terrifying. If this continues, Swift Wind Gate's defeat will be assured. The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master grimaced. Swift Wind Gate's defeat naturally had nothing to do with them. But if the ancestral artifact fragment fell into the hands of God Lord Tyrant Dragon's group, Vermilion Bird Pavilion would have no hope at all. The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master secretly communicated his thoughts to the other members, and they immediately agreed. Let this old man play with you. God Lord Heavenly Solitude saw through the Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master's thoughts, and shot forward. Bzzzzz. His eyes began to turn, the death law filling the world. The entire sea of fire darkened as black mist seeped into it. Just an eye of death descendant. The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master's face chilled as he charged forward with the other members. Just being an eye of death descendant was much weaker than the Destruction Dragon Race bloodline. Is that so? God Lord Heavenly Solitude sneered, and with a flip of his palm, a golden red feather appeared. By activating the ancestral artifact fragment, the flames of the burning heaven sea were immediately roused. Death Fire Vortex! God Lord Heavenly Solitude activated the Eye of Death and the power of the ancestral artifact fragment, unleashing a massive black and red vortex. Boom! Bang! Bang! The vortex pulsed with the destructive energy of death and fire, pulverizing all. Blazing Hell Fragment! The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master blurted out in shock. He hadn't expected for this death descendant to also have a blazing hell fragment. Coupled with his quasi-god eye level eye of death, God Lord Heavenly Solitude's strength had reached the third heaven level. In the distance, Tang Bai was startled. As expected, he's not simple. The two people who had already attacked both had third heaven fighting power, and the cold woman who had yet to attack was not weak either. At this moment, a soul message resounded in Tang Bai's mind. Tang Bai, they have an ancestral artifact fragment. Let's work together to deal with them. If we succeed, we'll each get an ancestral artifact fragment. The one who messaged Tang Bai was none other than the Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master. God Lord Heavenly Solitude taking out an ancestral artifact fragment had not intimidated him. On the contrary, it had only fueled his greed. Tang Bai said nothing. His intuition told him that these three were not to be trifled with. Brother Tang, if we work together with Swift Wind Gate and Vermilion Bird Pavilion to defeat these three, we should be able to harvest quite a bit. Suddenly, Zhao Feng messaged Tang Bai. When do we attack? God Lord Crazy Sword soared intent soared into the sky. They had been watching from the sidelines this entire time. If this continued, the struggle for the ancestral artifact fragment might end and they wouldn't even have a chance to attack. Attack! Tang Bai clenched his teeth and called out. He wasn't someone who was afraid of trouble. Okay. Zhao Feng faintly smiled as he charged towards the cold girl who hadn't attacked yet. Thus, Tang Bai and the others followed. Seeking death. The cold woman's red eyes focused. Bzzz. Hum! The golden red feather tattoos on her body suddenly began to burn, transforming into flaming feathers that covered her body. Her arms transformed into a pair of heaven-shrouding flame wings that exuded a scorching bloodline pressure. Kaboom! Flames madly seethed within the burning heaven sea. The blazing hell fragment in God Lord Bloodrain's hand began to tremble even more intensely, almost as if it would break free of its bindings. Golden Crow Race. Tang Bai's eyes glimmered. The other members of the group had grim expressions as they prepared for battle. These three have different bloodlines and abilities. Why are they together? Zhao Feng was rather confused. Did these three belong to the same faction? Zhao Feng couldn't help but speculate that these three were members of a sacred land or a faction on the same level as a sacred land. Sealing Gate. Tang Bai formed a seal with his hands, unleashing a strange energy that surged around the cold woman. Bzzz. This twisted white light formed a crystalline white gate. Countless God-sealing race characters suddenly appeared on the white gate, ultimately sealing it off. Seal. A special energy seeped into the cold woman's body and sealed all her abilities. Kill. Zhao Feng and the other members used this chance to attack. If Zhao Feng used Chaos Origin Divine Power, God Lord Tyrant Dragon would probably recognize him. After all, the two had fought before. For this reason, Zhao Feng only used ordinary divine power attacks, so his fighting power was equivalent to that of a slightly stronger First Heaven God Lord. Moreover, Tang Bai's techniques were sealing, so his attacks were not very strong. For a moment, they were unable to gain much of an advantage in ganging up on the cold woman. However, they still had the advantage in numbers. If this continued, the Golden Crow race woman was doomed to lose. Good. Zhao Feng rejoiced as he looked at the other two sides. God Lord Tyrant Dragon and God Lord Heavenly Solitude were powerful, but their opponents were no pushovers. Crucially, they had the advantage in numbers. If this continues, all three of them will be defeated. Zhao Feng began to plan. Once God Lord Tyrant Dragon and God Lord Heavenly Solitude were defeated, he would have no qualms about revealing his identity, and using his trump cards to kill them in one fell swoop. The members of Vermilion Bird Pavilion and Swift Wind Gate were also extremely excited. God Lord Tyrant Dragon and God Lord Heavenly Solitude both had ancestral artifact fragments. As long as they were killed, they would have 3 ancestral artifact fragments. Vermilion Bird Pavilion, Swift Wind Gate, and Tang Bai could all get an equal share. God Lord Tyrant Dragon's group was slowly being pushed back. Zhao Feng was impatient to reveal his full strength at any moment, and kill them. Suddenly, God Lord Tyrant Dragon, God Lord Heavenly Solitude, and the Golden Crow race woman sneered and looked at Xiao Feng. "Xiao Feng, long time no see. Has your strength fallen to this level?" God Lord Heavenly Solitude's hoarse voice rang out. Xiao Feng grimaced in shock. "Not good! They knew of my identity long ago." The three enemies knew of Xiao Feng's identity long ago, but they pretended not to know at the start. There had to be a reason for this. Now that God Lord Heavenly Solitude had pointed it out, Xiao Feng suddenly had an ill foreboding. Chapter 1476. At this moment, God Lord Heavenly Solitude gave a wicked and sinister smile as he called out Xiao Feng's true identity. "Xiao Feng?" Tang Bai paused. He found this name rather familiar. "Xiao Feng! The rumored owner of the ninth god Eye also has this name." God Lord Crazy Sword's eyes flashed as he stared in disbelief at Xiao Feng. "Yes." Tang Bai suddenly raised his head and stared in shock at Xiao Feng. The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master and Swift Wind Gate Master were both dumbfounded. They had never imagined that the mysterious God Lord who had repeatedly conned them would actually be the rumored owner of the ninth god Eye. If they had known this, they would have never fought over the ancestral artifact fragment. Capturing Xiao Feng would have been their number one priority. The ninth god Eye could create a god Eye deity. How could a mere ancestral artifact fragment compare? "Run!" This thought emerged in Xiao Feng's mind. God Lord Tyrant Dragon's group of three was definitely up to something. Moreover, now that his identity had been exposed, the others would inevitably give up on the ancestral artifact fragment and attack him. "It's already too late!" God Lord Tyrant Dragon's lips curled into a sinister smile. "Hmm?" Suddenly, his ninth god Eye sensed a powerful bloodline energy. "Not good! There's another expert! Is this their backup plan?" Xiao Feng finally understood why God Lord Tyrant Dragon's group had pretended not to notice him. This was because their goal was to delay Xiao Feng until the true experts arrived. At this moment, God Lord Heavenly Solitude, God Lord Tyrant Dragon, and the Golden Crow race woman exploded with their bloodline divine power and broke free of their bindings. Swoosh swoosh. The three of them went behind Xiao Feng to prevent Xiao Feng from escaping. "What's going on?" The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master looked into the distance, his body trembling. As a second heaven god lord, he sensed danger approaching. "Oh no!" The Swift Wind Gate Master's expression darkened as he retreated. The God-sealing race bloodline in Tang Bai's body also trembled, giving him a warning. Nearby, a spatial vortex appeared. Whoosh! A tall and mighty man in white robes descended from the heavens and the earth, shrouded in layers of white divine light. Bzzz. At this moment, the heaven and earth trembled violently, and the atmosphere became extremely stifling. The flames of the entire burning heaven sea were suppressed by several thousand feet. Within a radius of several million miles, all living beings felt a powerful pressure. Those with cultivations lower than a god lord prostrated themselves on the ground, their bodies trembling. "Third heaven!" Xiao Feng was shocked. Although he had never seen a third heaven god lord before, he was sure that this person was at least a third heaven, perhaps even stronger. "Xiao!" Xiao Feng mobilized the space-time laws, turned into an aurora, and retreated. At this moment, Xiao Feng's speed was unprecedentedly fast. "Dream on!" God Lord Tyrant Dragon, the Golden Crow race woman, and God Lord Heavenly Solitude all unleashed their bloodline divine power, forming an enormous barrier in front of them. Although the divine emissary had appeared and Xiao Feng couldn't escape, now was the time for them to perform. Even if they knew it was useless, they still had to do it. Scram! Xiao Feng's Chaos Origin Tribulation Lightning Sword instantly unleashed several hundred bolts of sword energy. Boom! Bang! Crash! The vast majority of the Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning bolts bombarded the Golden Crow race woman's body, leaving behind many wounds. But golden red flames instantly flowed through these wounds, slowly healing them. The 8th-ranked Golden Crow race of the 10,000 ancient races possessed an inextinguishable flame body, allowing them to rapidly recover from even the most severe wounds. It was even rumored that even if their entire body was destroyed, they could still be reborn from the ashes. So what if you have an inextinguishable flame body? Zhao Feng ignored everything else and charged forward with the Chaos Heaven lightning vortex. All the golden crow flames in his path were twisted and devoured by Zhao Feng's Chaos Heaven lightning vortex. At this moment, Zhao Feng exploded with his fastest speed and strongest power. Boom! Bang! Zhao Feng crashed into the golden crow race woman, and the powerful energy of the Chaos Heaven lightning vortex surged forward. Even the recovery speed of the inextinguishable flame body could not compare to the speed at which Zhao Feng destroyed her. At the same time, Zhao Feng flipped his palm and took out a white mirror. Activating the ancestral artifact fragment, a time law energy immediately engulfed the golden crow race woman. This caused the golden crow tribe woman's resistance and self-healing ability to drop. Time slash! Zhao Feng activated the ancestral artifact fragment, unleashing one massive white blade after another. The woman from the golden crow tribe immediately let out a blood-curdling scream. The flames on her body weakened, revealing her alluring body that was riddled with wounds. The other god lords couldn't help but tremble at this sight. He actually has an ancestral artifact fragment. The Swift Wind Gate Master and the Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master both felt extremely uncomfortable. None of them had an ancestral artifact fragment, and were fighting to the death for it, but the First Heaven Zhao Feng had a time-type ancestral artifact fragment. But what was the use of all this? Tang Bai couldn't help but sigh. He could naturally tell that this Third Heaven God Lord had suddenly appeared to capture Zhao Feng. Humph! The divine emissary frowned and extended a palm. A supreme law energy descended around Zhao Feng. At this moment, Zhao Feng's Chaos Heaven lightning vortex was under the assault of this immense energy, and even its shape began to change. No, there's still a chance! Zhao Feng focused his eyes and began to circulate his Dream God Eye's origin energy. Dreamification! Dreamy mist spun out of his left eye and seeped into the surrounding space. As for Zhao Feng's left eye, it was completely reduced to a dreamy color. The world in front of him became dreamy and illusory, and the flames on the golden crow race woman's body began to take on a rainbow of colors. Break! Zhao Feng thrust out a finger and circulated his thought power. What's going on? The golden crow race woman's eyes went wide as she sensed the danger of death. Whoosh! The flames on her body suddenly disappeared into thin air. Following that, her arm disappeared bit by bit. In this life-and-death crisis, the golden crow race woman used all sorts of energy to resist. In the end, she realized that only a law could stop this inexplicable disappearance. In the distant sky, the divine emissary's eyes flashed with sharp light. Is this the power of the ninth god eye? Not even he could understand why the golden crow race woman's body would vanish for no apparent reason. It's said that the god eye bloodline is comparable to the ancestors of the top 10 ancient bloodlines. A hint of yearning appeared on the divine emissary's face, and then he focused his gaze on Zhao Feng. Boom! At this moment, he activated his bloodline energy, exploding with primal and ancient energy. Although the ninth god eye was only a first heaven god lord, he would not be careless and even activated his bloodline. Boom! The bloodline energy soared into the sky and stirred up the entire burning heaven sea. His body gradually dimmed, and the lower half of his body vanished, transforming into a dark and twisted mist. The divine emissary's body instantly grew to 100 feet. Kaboom! A primal and origin energy erupted from the divine emissary's body and swept through the world. At this moment, all the living beings in the world that had inherited their bloodlines screamed in fear. The countless firebirds in the burning heaven sea twisted and even exploded under this bloodline energy. Plush! The god lords closest to the divine emissary all vomited blood and grunted. This bloodline, could it be that it's the 6th-ranked race? Even the blood in Mu Bai's body began to churn. In the distance, Zhao Feng was also somewhat affected. Boom! The divine emissary circulated his powerful divine power and thrust out a palm. A ball of distorted gray energy whizzed out. Kaboom! The world trembled as all the energy in the air was absorbed by this dark and twisted divine power. The devouring attribute of this divine power was somewhat similar to Zhao Feng's chaos origin divine power, but it was even more tyrannical. What powerful divine power! The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master's divine power fiercely trembled. The god lords below second heaven felt like their divine power had almost frozen and were incapable of moving it. The dark and twisted energy descended around Zhao Feng. Boom! Bang! The chaos heaven lightning vortex around Zhao Feng began to twist and shatter. Die! Zhao Feng clenched his teeth and madly poured out his dream origin energy. In a flash, the dream god eye's power and thought power rose to another level. Whoosh! The speed at which the Golden Crow race woman disappeared suddenly increased. Eh? The divine emissary's eyes froze. Although he had trapped Zhao Feng's eye bloodline technique and time law energy did not stop. At this moment, the Golden Crow race woman's soul had mostly dissipated, and she was extremely weak. Die! Zhao Feng activated the time ancestral artifact fragment and unleashed a time attack. Boom! The heavily injured Golden Crow race woman was struck by a crystalline blade, and her body was instantly obliterated. Moreover, time energy was extremely damaging to the soul, so her soul was destroyed. After killing one person, Zhao Feng circulated his energy and flew away. Dead? God Lord Heavenly Solitude and God Lord Tyrant Dragon trembled in shock. They had originally believed that the divine emissary would be fine, but they had never expected this. What? The divine emissary's eyes widened in rage. Zhao Feng had killed his subordinate right in front of his eyes. Chaos Origin Lock! The divine emissary brought his hands together and took control of the twisted and dark divine power. This dark and twisted divine power exuded an extremely powerful attractive force, causing even space itself to twist and distort. This divine power rapidly flew toward Zhao Feng. The powerful attractive force hindered Zhao Feng's movements. Bzzz. In a flash, this dark and chaotic divine power formed a circular dimension that sealed off Zhao Feng. Boom! Bang! Zhao Feng circulated his divine power and struggled for his life. But he realized that his chaos origin divine power had no effect on the divine power of a third heaven godlord. In fact, when his chaos origin divine power surged out, it was absorbed by his opponent's divine power. What sort of divine power is this? Not even my chaos origin divine power can do anything to it? Zhao Feng was rather surprised. Even so, he had a way to deal with it, the dream god eye. He was confident that the god eye illusory oblivion would be effective against it. Fearless struggle! The divine emissary coldly snorted as he extended his other hand and unleashed powerful divine power. This dark and twisted divine power fused into the sphere that sealed off Zhao Feng. In a flash, Zhao Feng felt an immense pressure on his body. This energy not only absorbed Zhao Feng's divine power but also tortured Zhao Feng, making it impossible for him to remain calm. The divine emissary instantly arrived at Zhao Feng's side. The dark sphere that trapped Zhao Feng slowly shrank into a sphere that fell into the divine emissary's hand. The divine emissary then formed a spell, creating several seals that seeped into the gloomy sphere. Lord Divine Emissary, congratulations on smoothly capturing the ninth God Eye. God Lord Tyrant Dragon and God Lord Heavenly Solitude both kneeled, expressions of respect on their faces. Anyone who could become a divine emissary was definitely a top-class existence among third heavens. In terms of bloodline fusion, fighting power, and techniques, they were all extremely powerful. Lord Divine Emissary, what do we do with these people? God Lord Tyrant Dragon scanned the area. At this moment, all the God Lords present were panic-stricken. Several First Heaven God Lords were so shaken that they found it hard to stand. Kill them all! The Divine Emissary was unperturbed. Chapter 1477. Kill them all! The divine emissary's expression did not change. It was as if the deaths of these divine lords were insignificant to him. The divine emissary's words caused everyone else's hearts to tremble. "No, you don't dare to kill us. We are two of the 5-star forces in the Milky Way region." The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master's face was filled with fear. He had never imagined that this third heaven god lord would say something like this, that he would kill all of them. After all, they were the two major 5-star forces in the Tianhe region. If all of them died, it would have a huge impact on the overall strength of the Tianhe domain. The holy lands of the Tianhe region would definitely attack in anger. Could it be that these people were not afraid of the Saint Lands? Yes. Tyrant Dragon and God Lord Heavenly Solitude were not very surprised. It was as if the divine emissary's answer was within their expectations. The 9th god Eye was extremely important. Compared to enraging a sacred land, temporarily keeping the news that they had captured the 9th god Eye was more important. Therefore, everyone who saw this scene must die. This isn't good. God Lord Crazy Sword felt fear in his heart. At this moment, even the two 5-star factions of the Tianhe region were somewhat afraid, let alone a divine master who didn't belong to any faction. Not good. The Vermilion Bird Pavilion Master, the Swift Wind Gate Master, and the other god lords sensed this invisible killing intent. They were sure that this third heaven god lord really did want to kill them. Run! The Swift Wind Gate Master immediately burned his bloodline and divine power. A layer of swift wind light surrounded his body as he prepared to flee. The other experts also used their life-saving trump cards. The sight of that third heaven god lord attacking just now was still engraved in their minds. Even if all the second heaven god lords worked together, there would still be no match for the divine emissary. Besides that third heaven god lord, there was also the powerful god lord Tyrant Dragon and god lord Heavenly Solitude. It could be said that none of the people present had any chance of winning. Don't even think of leaving! The divine emissary's eyes turned cold. He spread open his arms and released a primordial chaotic divine power, drawing in all the power in the world. Bzzz. All the energy in a radius of 1,000,000 li trembled as the divine emissary took control of it. Under such circumstances, the others lost the support of the heaven and earth energy, and their strength was greatly reduced. Of course, this was not the end. The divine emissary controlled all the energy in this area to form a dark barrier 1,000,000 li away. The barrier linked together to form a sealed space. At this moment, everyone was trapped in the center of the burning heaven sea. Break! The Swift Wind Gate Master was the first to arrive at the edge of the barrier. He channeled the law of wind and divine power, stabbing out layers of green sword light storms. Boom! Bang! The powerful attack of a second heaven god lord struck the gloomy barrier formed by the divine emissary. However, before the Swift Wind Gate Master's attack could approach, some of its power was devoured by the dusky barrier. When that layer of cyan sword light storm bombarded the barrier, it was like a thunderstorm. Swift Wind Gate Master sensed that a small portion of the azure sword light storm's power had been absorbed by the dark barrier. The remaining power of the attack was not enough to break the barrier. Damn it, this all-encompassing, all-devouring power. Chaotic force. The Swift Wind Gate Master looked anxious. At this moment he was sure that this third heaven god lord was the 6th-ranked race of the 10,000 ancient races, the heaven-mending race. In terms of origin energy, the heaven-mending race's primal chaos energy was definitely one of the strongest of the 10,000 ancient races. It could even be ranked in the top 3. Worthy of being a divine emissary who has fused with the bloodline of the heaven-mending race. This kind of power is truly formidable. God Lord Gloomhaven inwardly sighed. The heaven-mending race was an archaic bloodline that was extremely difficult to fuse with. However, this heavenly divine emissary had fused with 50% of the heaven-mending race's bloodline, thus becoming a heavenly divine emissary. Whoosh! Whoosh! God Lord Gloomhaven and God Lord Tyrant Dragon swiftly took action. Now that they had all been stopped by the divine emissary, they only needed to deal with them one by one. When they were fleeing just now, many of them scattered in all directions. Now that they were separated, they were powerless against experts like God Lord Heavenly Solitude and Tyrant Dragon. Of course, the divine emissaries could control the energy of this dimension as they pleased, and they could also attack. Explosions rang out incessantly as one divine master after another fell. Humph, someone like you is worthy of an ancestral artifact fragment? God Lord Tyrant Dragon unleashed a dragon of black flames that engulfed God Lord Bloodrain's body. Boom! He immediately charged out and snatched the ancestral artifact fragment from God Lord Bloodrain's hands. No! God Lord Bloodrain's body was scorched black as he screamed in pain. He had managed to obtain the ancestral artifact fragment with great difficulty, but now, he had not only lost it, but also his life. He was filled with regret. But everything was already decided. On the other side, God Sealing Race, obediently come with me. God Lord Heavenly Solitude's eye of death focused on Tang Bai. Tang Bai sighed. He never would have imagined that a struggle for an ancestral artifact fragment would end up with such a twist. The ninth God Eye, the owner of the Golden Crow race and Destruction Dragon race bloodlines, as well as a third heaven expert of the Heaven Mending race bloodline, had appeared. Even though he had lived his entire life in the sacred land, he still felt that this trip was extremely dangerous. Humph, since you know that you can't resist, just obey. God Lord Heavenly Solitude sneered. In his view, Tang Bai was sighing because he felt a deep sense of helplessness. I'll be leaving first. I won't be playing with you any longer. Tang Bai grimaced as a white gold jade talisman appeared in his hand. He was sighing because he did not want to use this trump card. God Lord Heavenly Solitude had completely misunderstood. Bzzz. The white gold jade talisman flashed with dazzling golden white light, and then a massive hand of white light emerged from it. Oh no! God Lord Heavenly Solitude grimaced and immediately retreated. The energy exuded by the jade talisman struck deep fear into his heart. Boom! Whoosh! The giant golden hand rushed out from the jade talisman, bringing with it an incomparably powerful force as it pointed out. Boom! Bang! Crash! A hole was immediately punched through the gloomy barrier. At the same time, the power of the barrier was affected by the sealing power, and its might weakened. Hisses! Tang Bai's body was strengthened by the crystalline divine power, and his strength rose to another level. But he knew that he was not skilled at fighting and was still no match for a divine emissary. Thish! He transformed into a streak of light and vanished into the distance. After escaping for some distance, Tang Bai sensed that no one was following him, so he used spatial shift to get away. Why would the heaven-mending race be interested in the ninth God Eye? Tang Bai was extremely confused. Based on what he knew, the heaven-mending race of the wild ancient era was a pacifist. This race rarely participated in the struggles of the world. Instead, they roamed the fan universe, repairing the holes in space and maintaining the normal operation of the fan universe. He hadn't expected for this race to appear and even act against the ninth God Eye. However, Tang Bai also felt that the owner of the heaven-mending race bloodline gave him a very strange feeling. Perhaps there was more to it than met the eye. In the center of the burning heaven sea, at the gap in the gloomy barrier, Your Excellency, your subordinate was incompetent and allowed him to escape. God Lord Heavenly Solitude nervously said. It's fine. The divine emissary calmly turned and left. Tang Bai had suddenly used his trump card, breaking the spatial seal and even affecting the power of the barrier. The divine emissary could have given chase just now, but that would have allowed the other people in this dimension to escape. It was clearly not worth letting more people escape just to capture one person. Whoosh! The divine emissary hurried off to other places to kill the survivors. Let's go! After doing all this, the three used spatial shift to leave. From this point onwards, the struggle for the ancestral artifact fragment in the burning heaven sea became a mystery. It was rumored that all the god lords fighting over the fragment had died, none of them returning. This matter even shook the Tianhe Zone's sacred land, and they even sent out god lords to investigate. On the other side, the divine emissary had captured Zhao Feng, and he was being led by the trio to some unknown place. They actually killed all those people. Zhao Feng mentally sighed. Although the divine emissary had sealed him in a special secret art, he could still sense what was going on outside. God Lord Tyrant Dragon's group had no qualms about killing all the upper echelon members of a 5-star faction. In addition, after being captured by the divine emissary, all the energy in Zhao Feng's body had been absorbed by the gloomy sphere. Perhaps this was precisely why the divine emissary had let down his guard around Zhao Feng. Of course, even though Zhao Feng had been captured and his divine power sucked dry, he was not very flustered. This was because Zhao Feng had a way to escape, thought teleportation. This was a special ability of the Dream God Eye, and it could be used only by consuming dream energy and thought energy. There's no rush. Let's go take a look at their faction and get some information. Zhao Feng was in no rush to leave. The faction behind God Lord Tyrant Dragon was extremely powerful, and it was determined to obtain the 9th God Eye. Being targeted by such a force made Zhao Feng unable to eat or sleep well. Crucially, he knew nothing about this faction. Thus, Zhao Feng planned to enter the tiger's den and see what was going on. If he had a little understanding of this faction, it would be much easier to deal with it. A day later, the trio arrived at an uninhabited area. They're laying down an array. Zhao Feng observed the situation outside from within the gloomy sphere. 3 days later, the array was finished, and a mysterious path was opened. Zhao Feng followed them to another place. Where is this? Zhao Feng observed all the unfamiliar objects around him. The world was ethereal and filled with white clouds. In the boundless sky, there were 3 giant floating mountains. Countless buildings of various kinds could be seen on these mountains. At a glance, it seemed like these densely packed buildings had formed one massive mountain. The buildings of the Heaven's Legacy race. Zhao Feng was stunned. Yes, these 3 massive mountains were covered in Heaven's Legacy race buildings. These buildings were even more exquisite and majestic than the Heaven's Legacy race cities he had seen before, and they were brimming with various auras. Such massive and complete Heaven's Legacy race buildings, could it be? A shocking thought emerged in Zhao Feng's mind. Swoosh, swoosh. Several dozen warships patrolled the area around the 3 buildings. The members of these warships were all puppets, the weakest of which was a rank 7 ancient god. Respectful greetings, divine emissary! All the puppets on the warships got down on one knee and bowed. The divine emissary flew to the massive mountain in the center. This mountain was so massive that even as he approached, Zhao Feng's dream god eye couldn't see the end of the mountain. A few moments later, the divine emissary arrived at a black palace at the peak of the mountain. You've returned! The moment he touched the palace, an ethereal voice came from within. Chapter 1478. You've returned! The moment he touched the palace, an ethereal voice came from within. The divine emissary grunted. Bzzz. White ripples suddenly appeared in front of him, slowly forming a circular entrance. The divine emissary led Zhao Feng, God Lord Tyrant Dragon, and God Lord Gloomhaven into the palace. The palace was dim, and there was only a black-robed elder inside. He seemed rather ordinary. Lord Divine Emissary! God Lord Tyrant Dragon and God Lord Gloomhaven respectfully called out. As it turned out, this black-robed elder was also a divine emissary. But the black-robed elder didn't even glance at them, as if he was completely ignoring them. It seems like Brother Biming has already succeeded in capturing the 9th God Eye. The black-robed elder faintly smiled. The person who had captured Zhao Feng was called Biming Hui. Divine Emissary was just his title. It's just a mere first firmament. If I were to make a move, it would naturally be easy. Biming Hui's expression was indifferent. In truth, however, he was rather displeased. In capturing Zhao Feng, he had lost a powerful subordinate. Let me experience the 9th God Eye. The black-robed elder focused his gaze on the dark sphere next to Biming Hui. Bzzz. With a thought from Bai Minghui, the energy that had imprisoned Zhao Feng slowly dissipated. Zhao Feng appeared in the pitch-black palace. Although Bai Minghui had so easily released him, Zhao Feng had no intention of escaping. He was already deep in the enemy's base, and he had sensed at least 10 God Lord auras along the way. In addition, this black-robed elder was even more unfathomable to Zhao Feng than Bai Minghui. In front of these two divine emissaries, he did not struggle or resist. His eyes narrowed as he memorized every detail. Since he had entered this tiger's den, he naturally had to get to the bottom of this mysterious faction and see the true face of this faction. There's no need to be afraid. You're safe for now. The black-robed elder smiled and amiably said. Zhao Feng was stunned. How was this the attitude of a prisoner? He even felt that the other party seemed to be treating him as an acquaintance that he had met a few times. If he didn't know that his opponent's goal was the 9th God Eye, Zhao Feng really wouldn't have felt any sense of danger. After saying this, the black-robed elder stared intently at Zhao Feng's left eye as if he was trying to see through it. At the same time, Zhao Feng was also observing him. Through the see-through ability of the Dream God Eye, Zhao Feng discovered that the black-robed elder's body hid a terrifying and enormous energy. Moreover, that power was very complicated. Zhao Feng could not see any clues just by using his X-ray vision. However, the black-clothed old man seemed to have sensed that Zhao Feng was spying on him. As expected of the 9th God Eye, the black-robed old man smiled meaningfully and turned to leave. Buzz! Bai Minghui immediately took action, unleashing powerful chaotic and gloomy energy that imprisoned Zhao Feng once more. Let's wait for now. The other palace kings, divine emissaries, and Lord Protector will all come. The black-robed elder looked at Bai Minghui and God Lord Tyrant Dragon. The other divine emissaries? Zhao Feng was alarmed. The black-robed elder's words implied that there were other divine emissaries besides him and Bai Minghui. It had to be known that these divine emissaries were the strongest of the third heaven. And there were several more of these people. Less than half a day later, a person shrouded in red light arrived at the palace. In the following days, more and more people arrived at the scene. So many experts! Zhao Feng was stunned. Up until now, there were as many as 15 divine masters who had come to this place. Besides the black-robed elder, there were 4 others on the same level as Bai Minghui. Almost all of these people had mentioned to Bai Minghui that they wanted to meet the 9th God Eye, but they had all been refused. From this, one could see that the black-robed elder had a rather unusual status. In this period of time, Zhao Feng was listening to the conversations of the experts in the palace. He realized that people on the level of God Lord Tyrant Dragon and God Lord Heavenly Solitude were the palace kings that the black-robed elder had spoken of. Moreover, the factions that these palace kings belonged to were collectively referred to as Defy Palaces. There were 9 of them in total, and God Lord Tyrant Dragon's demon-defying palace was one of them. Further down was the Heaven Hall, 18 in total. The Heavenly Demon Hall that Zhao Feng had visited before was one of them. The more he understood, the more shocked Zhao Feng became. Just how massive is this faction? If his guess was correct, the 18 Heaven Halls were spread across all 18 zones of the ancient desolate realm of gods. He had never imagined that there would be a faction that could cover the entire ancient desolate realm of gods. This was simply too terrifying. The 18 Heaven Halls were equivalent to 18 peak 4-star factions, and the 9 Defy Palaces were equivalent to 9 5-star factions. Suddenly, the expressions of all the members in the palace flickered. They stood up and looked outside. Swish! A tall old man appeared in the palace. His back was hunched, and his skin was as coarse as a 1,000-year-old tree. His skin was covered in countless strange and ancient runes. Although it was impossible to see them clearly, one would find it difficult to look away from them. The elder's eyes were deep and boundless, and his white beard reached the ground. Respectful greetings, Lord Protector! All the God Lord experts in the hall had respectful looks on their faces. Zhao Feng could tell that the vast majority of these people respected this protector from the bottom of their hearts. Protector! Zhao Feng was startled. It seemed like this protector had an even higher status than the divine emissaries. If even the divine emissaries were outstanding third heaven experts, then just how strong was this protector? The protector's gaze first fell on the gloomy sphere in which Xiao Feng resided. When he saw the protector's eyes, Xiao Feng felt a little dazed. At the same time, he felt like many of his secrets had been seen through by this protector. How could this be? Xiao Feng was inwardly alarmed. He rarely had this sort of feeling. One had to realize that not even the eye of destiny of the same level could pry into his secrets. The number of people is about right. Some of the 18 palace kings and divine emissaries can't come. The protector's body flashed, and he appeared at the top of the palace. With a point of his finger, a strange ball of heaven's legacy race characters descended upon the gloomy sphere in which Xiao Feng resided. At this moment, Xiao Feng realized that he could neither see nor hear anything. The ninth god eye has been captured. Our goal has advanced a step further. The protector appeared rather excited. At this moment, all the members in the palace had looks of yearning on their faces. However, in order to search for information on the ninth god eye, we've been moving around a lot. Quite a few sacred lands and secret factions have already noticed. The black-robed elder began to report the relevant matters. It was naturally impossible for such a huge force to carry out its activities in a secretive manner. However, Xiao Feng was also extremely shocked. For such a massive faction to be able to conceal itself so well was truly incredible. His Excellency the Heaven Lord will personally come regarding the ninth god eye. We should first take care of other matters, the protector said with a smile. His Excellency the Heaven Lord? Everyone's eyes widened in shock, and their expressions turned serious. I didn't think that I would be able to see His Excellency the Heaven Lord in my life. God Lord Heavenly Solitude was extremely excited. Ever since he had come to this faction, he had only heard about the Heaven Lord, but he had never met him. But now, because of the ninth god eye, he would be able to see the Heaven Lord. Very few people probably knew that the ninth god eye had been captured. Not even Tang Bai, who had managed to escape that day, had revealed this matter. He was confident that the faction behind God Lord Tyrant Dragon was watching him, so he did not recklessly expose his identity. At the very least, he would wait until he returned to the sacred land before speaking of this matter. But in the western region of the ancient desolate realm of gods, in a hidden otherworldly land, quite a few people learned of this matter and were left stunned. This hidden otherworldly land was a place of verdant mountains and clear waters, shrouded in mist. In the depths of a mountain shrouded in hazy mist, there were many hexagonal towers. If Zhao Feng or Zhao Yufei were here, they would definitely feel that this six-sided pagoda was rather similar to the six warlock divine pagoda of the Azure Flower continent. However, this pagoda was 100 times the size of the six warlock divine pagoda. Moreover, the pitch-black hexagonal pagoda was covered in the characters of the Heaven's legacy race and many mysterious diagrams, brimming with wondrous intent. Amongst these hexagonal pagodas was one abnormally majestic, pitch-black pagoda that seemed to be the center of the world. Whoosh! Whoosh! Many black-robed middle-aged and elders flew out of the nearby hexagonal pagodas. They anxiously charged toward the pitch-black pagoda at the center of the world. What do we do? They've already captured the ninth god eye. This is bad. Lord Heavenly Shaman, this subordinate has an important report. Several elders with profound and powerful auras stood on the top floor of the pitch-black pagoda. Whoosh! A layer of silver light shone down on the center of the pagoda. A hazy white figure emerged from the light. This woman had an ethereal and tranquil face, and her deep and serene white eyes seemed to be able to see through all things in the world. The woman calmly stood where she was, exuding an unfathomable and ethereal aura. The expressions of many wise men present froze for a moment, and they were in a daze. On the woman's shoulder was a large silver-black lazy cat. Meow! The lazy cat's eyes suddenly opened a slit, and it couldn't help but yawn, stretch, and let out a strange and drawn-out cry. Chin-chin, where is Lord Heavenly Shaman? An old man with a wrinkled face walked forward and said slowly, Grand Master will be here soon. the white-clothed woman indifferently said, and then she went to the side and sat down. Even so, this matter was far too important, and many of the people present were still unable to relax. We miscalculated this time. They've already captured the ninth god eye. We have to do something. Quite a few people had worried expressions as they discussed what to do. If Yu Tianshu is allowed to fuse with the ninth god eye, the consequences will be unimaginable. When the name Yu Tianshu was mentioned, the figures of everyone present stopped, and they revealed various expressions. Some were detest, some were admiration, some were fear. Everything can only be decided after Lord Heavenly Shaman comes out, the wrinkled old man said in a low voice. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.